Hopes are rising higher. Innovation fills the air. From labs to fields, from codes to skies, we're shaping the future with intention. Fields of green, seeds of promise. Food security is our goal. Research Day is not just about honoring the work of those who've done exceptional work in the past, but igniting the minds of those who come after us to propel us into a new era. Vision 30 illuminates our path. With each step forward, we stand strong. We stand proud. Welcome to Research Day 2025.
I'm unstoppable. I'm a Porsche with no brakes. I'm invincible. I win every single game. I'm so powerful. I don't need batteries to play. I'm so confident. I'm unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Vision's hazy, but I swear someday there'll be a celebration. Yes, today it's just for you and me. Rise up, rise up, rise up, rise up. Rise up, rise up, rise up. It's the eye of the tiger, it's the thrill of the fight. Rising up to the challenge of our rivals. And the last known survivor stalks his prey in the night. And he's watching us all in the eye. Rising up, back on the street. Did my time, took my chance. Rise up, rise up. I went the distance, now I'm back on my feet. Just a man and his will to survive. It's the eye of the tiger, it's the thrill of the fight. Rising up to the challenge of our rivals. And the last known survivor stalks his prey in the night. And he's watching us all in the eye. When I look at where I'm coming from, I know I'm blessed, and I close my eyes and smile. Sometimes I feel like the richest man in Kingston, and I've done my best, so everything's alright inside. Remember when we did poor daddy? I will never have nobody be proud of me. Them things they let me sing song. So when we lift high, lift up my head to the hills, I'm blessed. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. With my two hands in the air, pa 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 pa, pa pa. Spa da 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 da, spa da 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 da, spa da pa pa pa, pa pa pa. Oh, 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 spa-da-pa-pa-pa. It's time to rise up. Stand and take your place. Son, your journey has just begun. Rise up. Stand like the brave. Rule your destiny. Be the best that you can be. You're taking, giving up is the only kind. Rise up, rise up,
Please stand for the playing of the national anthem.
Get wisdom, and she will make you great. She will be your crown in glory. That's what we do when we try to do research. We spend a lot of time investigating a very small area to solve a specific problem. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. You're looking beautiful from here. I'm Marcia Roy, and I'm the Director for Graduate Studies and Research and the Chair of the Research Day Committee. In October of 2023, Professor Denzel Williams, our PVC and principal, gave me this task that in 2025, we're going to host Research Day. So it's a wonderful sight from here. I am so excited that we're finally here. Thank you very much for sharing with us. I have some important people in the room to acknowledge. Dr. Timar Stevenson will be representing the Ministry of Education. Professor Henry Lee is our PVC for Graduate Studies and Research. Mr. Earl Jarrett, Deputy Chairman and CEO of the JN Group. Mr. Maurice Barnes, CEO of Victoria Mutual. Mr. Ainsley Henry and his team from the Department of Forestry. Ms. Carla Grant from the Inter-American Development Bank. We have Enrique Douglas from the Business Development Officer of CEPROD. Shara Watson, Dr. Shara Watson is one of our alumni, Executive Director of the Scientific Research Council. Mr. Lopez Zia from the Mexican Embassy. Yash Pal Singh, First Secretary from the High Commission of India. We have Mr. Dorian Beckford from Conrad Douglas and Associates. We have from Wigton Wind Farm, Mr. Norman Neer. Christopher Brown and his team from the Development Bank of Jamaica. One of my PhD students, Dr. Kerry-Ann Smith, who is the founder of SOSA. She's online. Dion Clark-Harris from Cardi. Mr. Telroy Morgan and his team from Petrojam. Dennis Cohen, who is chairman of the UWI Mona Campus Council. Mr. Joseph Taff, who is part of the UWI RTG Steering Committee. Mina Israel, who has been a mentor to me. Thank you very much, Mina. We also have Carol Andrade from Seprod. We have Javier San Roman from the Spanish Embassy. Samir Jones and the team from the University of Illinois. We would like to welcome our PVC and Pro-Vice Chancellor of the Mona campus, Professor Denzel Williams, and you will hear from him in a little bit. Dr. Tomlin Paul, who's our Deputy Principal. We have Dr. Stanberry, our Campus Registrar, and Donovan Stanberry. We welcome all our deans, especially Professor Thame, who has really been a strong woman for me in this role. We welcome all our heads of department. Thank you very much for joining us for Research Day. This year, we are doing Research Day a little bit differently. Welcome to our bursar, Catherine Park-Thwaites. So I was given the mandate to attract capital to research by our principal. So today, we will still have the exhibits in the faculties. The Faculty of Science and Technology will be hosting the only science festival in Jamaica. In the Faculty of Humanities and Education, there will be a mini film festival and many other activities. In the Faculty of Medicine, of Medical Sciences, there will be demonstrations, for instance, how to use an ultrasound, and then you ask the question, what courses do I need to study to be able to do that? The Faculty of Sport will have strength training and demonstrations of fitness training. The vision that we were given by Professor Denzel Williams is to attract capital to research. So this morning at noon, you're going to hear from Dr. Simone Badal, who developed the first Caribbean cancer cell line. You would have heard her this morning on RGR, because that Caribbean cell line is important in drug development. Most of the cell lines before Dr. Badal did this were Caucasian cell lines. So now the drugs can be tested on a Caribbean cell line, so we will know how we will interact with those drugs. You're going to hear from Professor Delgoda, who is extracting psilocybins from Jamaican mushrooms. You know, when it comes to Jamaica, we have some unique things and some unique people. These psilocybins are important for treating cancer and mental health. From the Faculty of Engineering, you will hear from Dr. Lyndon Faulkner, and he's going to explain to us how we can use AI to improve parking lot security. That affects all of us. Dr. Andre Coy from the Faculty of Science and Technology will be telling you about his vision of using AI to develop a tutoring system to help young children to read. And Dr. David Pickin will tell you about how he's trying to grow young papaya leaf to help treat dengue fever. Professor Lloyd Waller is going to tell us about where we are on the Vision 2030 scale. Remember Vision 2030? It's right around the corner. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome our visionary, Professor Denzel Williams, with his opening remarks.
I don't know if I can be as comprehensive as our mistress of sermon is this morning. Please give her another round of applause. Thank you very much, Dr. Marcia Roy. What I will say, however, is that I will not follow in your footsteps with the very long protocol list this morning. What I will just say is, good morning, all nice and decent people. It is indeed, I think, a very good day for us here at the UWI, and more importantly for us here at the Mona campus, I think this calendar event is indeed one of the most significant events within the university system. And why is that so? This is so because research and innovation is at the heart of what we do as a university. This is really what makes us different. In the language of competitive advantage, you would say this is our greatest source of competitive advantage as an institution. And therefore, if you have your greatest source of competitive advantage, you have to always nurture it and build on it so that you can actually strengthen this important source of competitive advantage. But importantly, it is not just inward looking. It is also very much outward looking as well. And why is this so? It is so because if you should step back a bit and better understand the role of a university, and especially the role of a public university, you would appreciate that the work we do here is so critical to advance lives and livelihood. And so, when you think of Jamaica and the wider Caribbean and see where we are, the first question you ask yourself, what exactly is our number one developmental challenge why we have not seen high levels of income, higher standards of living, so that our people can live a decent life? That's a question we grapple with for a long time. You may say we're a young democracy, roughly about 65 years old or so, but besides being a young democracy, the truth is that there are so many lessons to be learned from others that our age should not impact on our development at this stage. And so, when you grapple with the question, why is it that we consistently are poor? And you do the necessary studies and you do the analysis, you will find that our general developmental challenge is really a lack of globally competitive enterprises and institutions. You hear that a lot of people say we have a productivity problem, but they misdiagnose the problem. Because you will hear conversation that to improve productivity, you get more buses on the road and all of these kinds of stuff. That's a misdiagnosis of the problem. The real problem or the real issue to improve competitiveness of our institutions and our enterprises is to improve productivity. But improving productivity really rests on two important pillars. Those two pillars are capacity upgrading and technological advancement. If we accept that thesis, then it becomes absolutely clear why Research Day is so important. Because the two major pillars that have dragged down our competitiveness, our productivity as a region, are the two major pillars that are the core of the work of a university. Capacity building, technological advancement come through teaching and learning and research and innovation. So those two critical areas that are needed to drive improvement in competitiveness and productivity of any nation really rest with a university. And indeed, in our context, a public university like the UWI, which is funded by taxpayers' money, it is our duty to have high quality teaching and learning, to advance capacity building, and more importantly, to have high quality research so that we can advance technological advancements and innovation to drive the productivity of the nation. So it is no surprise today, colleagues and friends, why we are celebrating the important contribution of our most important resource as a university, our scholars, who have toiled and have painstakingly gone through studying the problems of our nation, looking at the issues from different lenses, taking the time to painstakingly and thoroughly understanding how we apply scientific methodologies to resolve those issues. And today they are putting those results on display. Those results are on display so that the public can be better informed about all the issues that they are contending with and to provide evidence-based solutions to those issues. So when we design policies to improve competition and competitiveness and productivity, they are policies that are based on evidence. It is for this reason why I think today is a special day. What you will see over the next 7-8 hours is a gamut of activities that your university that you have paid for have been engaged in over the last few years to design critical solutions, from cancer research, as you heard this morning, to things like finding the proper compound for ginger, to things like parking lots, and all of these kind of things that are impacting on capacity building and impacting on technological advancement. You find those solutions nowhere else besides in a university. And that is why we are very proud, Principal Weber, of our University of the West Indies, because it is not just another institutional arrangement. It is an institutional arrangement that is a full-service institution that you get every and any answer to any problems that you want right here at the university. That's unique. That's unique. Because what we have in our University of the West Indies is a very liberal curriculum that we attract and we discuss and we have contestation on all things that matter. All things, from science to religion to philosophy to the social sciences to business to management, everything that matters. That makes us unique and that makes us special. And it is for that reason why our university has to exist in perpetuity. Because without that kind of intervention in society, the advancement of our society will be in question. If we do not have a high quality university like the UWI, rest assured that we are going to continue to run an economic model that is based purely on commodification, purely on what we call cheap labor, no value added, nothing to move up the value chain. It is through a university that you can actually get the research, you can actually get the capacity building, organize the technology in such a way that you apply it to the work to move up the value chain. For a very long time, we have been seen as nations of samples. We have a sample and we go to the global marketplace and they say, take that sample and now produce a mass production. And we come back and we say, unfortunately, we don't have the technology to do it. It is through our university that you're going to get the technology to now apply to your samples to scale your production and move up the value chain. Ladies and gentlemen, this could never be a happier day for us at the UWI because we are making a contribution to Caribbean, national, and regional development. I really want to again applaud the work of our scholars. They have been tireless in finding solutions to big problems that we face in the Caribbean society and beyond. And for that today, we want to celebrate you. And for that today, we want to thank you. We want to thank industry. We want to thank policymakers for joining with us and look at all our offerings so that we can actually advance the major developmental challenge that has been holding us back for a long time, which is our productivity. But our productivity has to be advanced through greater capacity building and greater innovation in research. UWI is here to support you and facilitate our advancement as a society. let us celebrate today the good work that is coming from UWI, and let us say, long live our UWI family. Thank you.
We want to invite our PVC for Graduate Studies and Research for the UWI system, Professor Aldra Henry Lee, to bring greetings.
Dr. Timar Stevenson, Senior Education Officer, Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth and Information. Professor Marcia Roy, Director, Graduate Studies and Research. Professor Denzel Williams, Pro-Vice Chancellor and Principal of the Mona campus. Mr. Michael Lopez, our keynote speaker, distinguished guests, deans, faculty members, researchers and students. Do I see students in the house? Please put up your hands. I love my students. Are they here? I only see 3 hands, Prof. Roy. Ladies and gentlemen, I am honored to bring greetings at this year's Research Day, being held under the theme, Driving Caribbean Development Through Research, Innovation, and Advocacy. Research Day celebrates the pioneering UWI Research, groundbreaking innovations and dedicated advocacy that shape Caribbean development. Today, I am very proud of the collective brilliance of our academicians and students who continue to push the boundaries of knowledge and create solutions for our region's most pressing challenges. Research stands, as our principal tells us, as the bedrock of sustainable development. Ladies and gentlemen, our region faces complex socioeconomic and environmental challenges, from climate change and energy and food insecurity to economic turbulence and public health risk. Through rigorous research and technological innovation, we have the power to transform these challenges into opportunities of growth and resilience. I was very thrilled, Prof. Roy, to read about the research carried out by our researchers. You mentioned them, Principal mentioned them, so that has taken away half of my speech. But I do want to call attention to those in collaboration with international partners have cracked the code for the coffee berry borer CBB, a tiny beetle with a devastating impact on coffee crops. This research paves the way for sustainable solutions to protect coffee production, benefiting both farmers and the environment. As a coffee lover myself, I thank the researchers. Ladies and gentlemen, these are just a few examples which Principal and Prof. Roy have mentioned, and I too ask you to look in the research book, learn about our research. They are very impactful examples of what we do. Each of these contributions underscores the role of research as a catalyst for development, creating evidence-based solutions that drive real-world change. And our students, don't ever forget our students. They are making us proud. We have seen a decline in the registered number of PhD students at the Mona campus, but our students continue to make impactful research. In academic year 2019 to 2020, there were 217 registered PhD students, but this academic year, 2024-2025, we are down to 176. So, Principal, we have some work to do. I don't like the downward trend, but we continue to market our programs for increased enrollment. But on the bright side, I note the increase in PhD graduates from 2019. In 2019, we had 20 PhD graduates, 2 of whom graduated with high commendation. And last year, we had 26 PhD graduates at the Mona campus, 6 of whom graduated with a high commendation. Give them a round of applause. We must never forget our students. So congratulations to all our MPhil, PhD, and other research students. We at the School for Graduate Studies and Research are committed To supporting our students, we're building capacity, training supervisors and students to improve the interaction and research output. We also strive to increase access to scholarships. We know you need scholarships and resources. I will use this for a little PR moment. The third one, UWI Postgraduate Students Conference, will be held November 12 to 15, 2025. Please save that date. November 12 to 15, 2025. I want all PhD students and all research students to take part. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we celebrate our achievements, we must acknowledge the fundamental need for sustained investment in research and development. Across the globe, leading universities dedicate significant resources to R&D, recognizing it as a key driver for economic growth and societal development. Consider the following figures from Forbes magazine, December 4th, 2023. Johns Hopkins University headed the top 5 with $3.42 billion in R&D. University of California, San Francisco, $1.8 billion. University of Pennsylvania, $1.791. University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, $1.771. University of Washington, Seattle, $1.560. In contrast, ladies and gentlemen, Caribbean universities operate within more constrained budgets. This impacts our ability to compete on a global scale. However, today you will see that we have demonstrated that strategic investment, whether through public funding, private sector collaboration, or international partnerships, we can yield significant returns for national and regional development. So our task now, and in keeping with the theme, is to advocate for research, increase in research funding as a national and regional priority, and to position the UWI as the place to come to for innovation and immediate and long-term solutions. Ladies and gentlemen, to maintain and improve our excellent research output and ensure our research has tangible benefits for society, we must adopt strategic measures to enhance both the output and the impact of our research initiatives. We must strengthen interdisciplinary collaboration, encourage increased partnerships between departments and across faculties to tackle complex, multifaceted issues, increase access to research funding for our students and academicians, expand postgraduate research opportunities, the scholarships, I have that on my #1 list, to attract and retain our postgraduate students. Leverage digital technology, our principal spoke about that. Utilize AI, big data, and digital research tools to accelerate discoveries and expand research capabilities. Ladies and gentlemen, notwithstanding all the constraints I spoke of earlier, we produce a significant amount of research, impactful research, but sometimes it is the best kept secret. So we need to discover how to increase public awareness of our research. We need to intensify our efforts in the following area: dissemination of our research, ensure that our policy makers get access to our research, industry leaders, the public through conferences, policy briefs, and the media. And we must not be afraid of social media. I'm trying to learn it myself. Those of us who are researchers tend to run away from social media, but that's where it's happening. So we have to learn the tools to be able to engage at social media. So the Research Day today is an excellent opportunity and must be commended. Principal, congratulations. Director, congratulations. We need to promote commercialization of research, establish incubation hubs and technology transfer offices to turn research ideas into marketable products and services. Forge stronger industry partnerships, collaborate with the private sector to align research with market demands and real-world applications. Advocate in terms of in keeping with your theme for evidence-based policy making. Ensure that the governments utilize academic research in shaping national and regional policies. My office commits continued support in implementing all these strategies that I mentioned. And today, as we celebrate our scholars, and students, we reaffirm our commitment to driving Caribbean development through research, innovation, and advocacy. We must not be afraid to let the facts speak for themselves, stand by our research findings, and not be swayed by external factors. Use our research findings to advocate for improved standards of living for our Caribbean people. The future of our region depends on our ability to conduct and report research findings in an ethical manner, translate discoveries into action, and champion policies that create lasting impact. So let us continue to push the boundaries of knowledge, to ask bold questions, and to drive meaningful change. Our university is not just a place for teaching and learning. It is a powerhouse of ideas, of solutions, and transformation. Congratulations to the organizers of Research Day, ably led by Professor Marcia Roy. Please give her a resounding round of applause. As I close, I wish you an impactful Research Day. Let us celebrate research at Mona. Visit the booths. Speak with the researchers and students. I urge our visitors to leave the campus today and discuss the research at Mona with a friend, a neighbor, a relative. Go tell it on the mountains, in the hills and valleys, that Mona is the best place in Jamaica to come and study and conduct impactful research. We are number one, and there's none better. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Aldri. You can tell from our principal and our PVC for Graduate Studies and Research that we're in good hands, and research and innovation is very important to our UWI. We're going to invite Dr. Tamar Stevenson, Senior Education Officer, Policy Analysis and Research from the Planning and Development Division of the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information, to bring greetings on behalf of the Minister. Dr. Stevenson.
Professor Denzel William, Pro Vice Chancellor and Principal, University of the West Indies Mona campus. Professor Henry Lee, Pro Vice Chancellor. Professor Marcia Roy, Chair, Research Day Committee. Specially invited guests, distinguished researchers, faculty members, students, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I am pleased to bring greetings on behalf of Senator Dr. the Honorable Dana Morris Dixon, Minister of Education, Skills, Youth and Information, and the Ministry as a whole, as you observe Research Day 2025. Today's proceedings underscore the pivotal role of education and innovation in shaping the trajectory of our nation, our region, and the global community on a whole. Moreover, it also serves to the invaluable contribution of the University of the West Indies in generating research and analysis that inform and shape policy. The theme for this year's Research Day, the UWI Mona, Driving Jamaican, Caribbean, and Global Development, aptly reflect the profound significance of research in addressing contemporary challenges and charting a course towards a more prosperous future. This theme also reaffirmed the UWI's steadfast dedication to producing research that is not merely academic in nature, but demonstrable, impactful, addressing pressing societal concerns and fostering development on national, regional, and global scales. At its essence, research endeavors to propel societal progress. It involves the identification, analysis of the challenges, the formulation of viable solutions, the creation of opportunities, and the conversion of innovative ideas into tangible outcomes. This very spirit is exemplified today through the presentation of groundbreaking academic contributions across a spectrum of disciplines. These contributions not only expand the boundaries of knowledge, but also influence public policy, catalyze innovation, and advance economic development. As we convene here today, we are reminded of the extensive and significant contributions of the UWI Mona over the years, from advancement in healthcare to pioneering work in the social sciences, education, agriculture, and technology. UWI represents a repository of expertise with the potential to transform lives. The research showcased during this event transcends academic confines, extending its reach into the heart of communities, shaping public policy, and fostering progress throughout the Caribbean and beyond. Moreover, the role of academics in equipping students to navigate increasingly dynamic and uncertain global landscape cannot be overstated. It's imperative to prepare students to address the complex real-world problems, adapt to rapidly evolving environment, capitalizing on emerging opportunities, and cultivate the capacity to acquire, unlearn, relearn skills through their professional lives. This gathering also offers a strategic platform for researchers to present their transformative project to prospective investors and partners. These initiatives represent more than mere concept. They signify practical solutions poised to drive economic growth, enhance social well-being, and contribute meaningfully to the advancement of our nation. So on behalf of the ministry, I extend my highest commendation to the esteemed faculty, researchers, and students of the UWI Mona for their unwavering commitment to excellence. Your invaluable contributions elevate not only this distinguished institution, but also the broader national and regional landscape. It is your passion for discovery, resolve in addressing real-world challenges, and belief in the transformative power of education and research that will continue to propel Jamaica, the Caribbean, and the global community towards greater heights. Let us ensure that the progress achieved today serves as a robust foundation for addressing the challenges and seizing the opportunities of the future. Thank you, and may this Research Year 2025 be both productive and inspiring.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm a molecular virologist. I study virus genes. So I'm a virus hunter. When I go looking for plant viruses that infect crops in St. Elizabeth, where I'm from, I'm the only person who is happy when I find a new virus, because I'm sitting there at my computer, I send it to the GenBank database, and it's not in there. So I just discover a virus. At that moment, I'm the only person of the nearly 8 billion people who know of this virus, and it makes me feel very powerful. 24 virus and counting. It was molecular virologists like myself who in December of 2019 sequenced the COVID virus, indicated that it was a new virus, and that is what spurred the development of COVID vaccines that got us out of the COVID pandemic. Kathy, I also study HIV, but when I was studying my plant virus and my bush virus, nobody paid attention, okay? Who cares about bush virus? But then I say HIV and everybody looks up. But it's the same technology that we use to study all viruses. This is the part that I've been looking forward to. But before we do a video reel to introduce our guest speaker, Michael Lopez, we want to thank our sponsor, Guardian Life. Please put your hand together for Guardian Life. So I met Michael about a year ago, and I asked him, where you come from? Michael saying, come from Manchester, Mandeville. I said, where you go school? He said, Monroe. It was all over because that's my brother's school. I went to Hampton. So Michael is a little boy from down in Manchester, and he's going to tell us about his vision for capacity building and technology advancement for the biopharmaceutical industry in Jamaica. I'm a biotechnologist. I work out of the biotech center. So Michael asked, Marcia, do you have the people, the trained people that I will need to work in my factory? I said, yes, we have the MPhils, we have the PhDs, we have the MSCs, and we have the BSCs in biotechnology. Bring it on, Michael.
Michael Lopez is a seasoned business leader and strategist with over 34 years of experience in biopharmaceutical manufacturing, quality operations, and executive site leadership. As the founder, chairman, and CEO of HSL Biotechnologies, Inc., he is spearheading the development of a state-of-the-art biopharmaceutical manufacturing plant in Jamaica, aimed at producing biologics and mRNA vaccines for global markets. With a Tier 1 business education from Ivy MBA and a proven track record at global Tier 1 biopharma companies like Pfizer, Merck, Sanofi Pasteur, and GSK, Michael has successfully led teams to deliver new product introductions across the USA, LAC market. His leadership has driven significant revenue growth and operational excellence, making him a trusted advisor and expert trainer in biopharma, cGMP manufacturing, and quality operations globally.
Good morning. I'd like to take this out because I find I talk better when I walk. So, just to make sure, can you hear me at the back? You can? Clearly? Okay. There's sometimes in life when you think the right place, the right people at the right time. And this is one of those times. So I'm really happy to be here. My name is Michael Lopez. First of all, thanks to Principal Dale Weber and the executive and departmental leaders of UWI, to the UWI students who are here, to the high school students who are future UWI students and future researchers who are here. I really am happy that UWI makes it possible for you to come. To the people who are here attending to listen and to be a part of Research Day, but especially not only to the audience, but to the investors. The investors are so key to seeing research move forward. And I'm really happy that they were included as part of this. So Professor Roy, Marcia Roy, Professor Rupi Delgoda as Head of Biotechnology, Professor Marcia Roy as Head of Graduate Studies. Thank you. Thank you for not only including students, high school students, but also investors. I have about an hour with you, and I'm going to talk you through biotechnology. And the way I titled it is Sowing Life, Reaping the Rewards. And life is important, not only because life is who we are, but life is biotechnology. It's living organisms, living material that create proteins, that create advanced medicines to treat difficult diseases. So we're going to talk about building a biopharma capability in Jamaica to start, and then expanding in the Caribbean. Secondly, to use biopharma manufacturing to invest in research. Because research takes a long time, costs money, but you need money to move it forward. And manufacturing can help with that. So for the investors, I really want you to listen to what it means to build a biopharma ecosystem. And we'll talk about that. And in addition to hiring science and technology students and researchers, it's also to fund the research in biologics development, drug development, and general research in life sciences across the UWI course spectrum. So, let me see if I can point and click and move us forward. How do I move this forward? Or do I not know what I'm doing? Ah, here we go. So we have about 6 areas to discuss today. Sorry, let me go back. I'll get better at this. I have to wait. Okay. 6 areas to discuss today. Introduction to biopharma, what the ecosystem looks like. The ecosystem is the key I want you to think of. Because to build a plant is not enough. What allows the plant to be successful? The complexity of biologics manufacturing. Why should we, Jamaica and the West Indies, make our own biologics? Why? And we'll talk about that. What are the challenges and benefits? And my personal thoughts at the end. I'm pressing, you know. Okay. So quickly, who am I? I'm a son of the soil. I was raised in Mandeville, went to Monroe College. That's my first year picture. And I'm standing at the back in those glasses. I went to Monroe for 5 years and did O-levels. And at the end of the 5 years, my parents moved to Kingston. And I moved to Kingston from Mandeville. Really enjoyed my upbringing in Mandeville. I'm going to school in St. Elizabeth. And I moved to Kingston and went to Woolmer's for 2 years. So for Woolmerians in the house, much respect. I love my upbringing and I'm very proud of my upbringing. Not only as a country boy, but as a Woolmerian as well. I came to Kingston when I was 15, and when I was 17, I went to the University of Toronto, and I've lived in Toronto for many years, and also been able to work in different areas of the world, and I must tell you, Jamaica prepares us to be international. Jamaica is such an important culture and place to prepare us for being international. Why? There's something about us as Jamaicans. We are confident. Sometimes we are overconfident. And the key for us as Jamaicans is to take that confidence so we don't get pushed around and we don't get put in second place, but to build our knowledge and capability so that we are able to go toe-to-toe and speak with anybody, anywhere in the world. And I know we can do it. And I know we can do it in the sciences. And I'm one of the science people who has done it. So be proud, very proud of Jamaica. Whether you come from the country, whether you come from a big town or city, be very proud of it. But know that Jamaica and the confidence it instills and the fact that we are raised by people who care about us, that can take us to the United States, to Canada, to Germany, to Switzerland, to France, and in my case, even to Korea, and lead and help Koreans learn how to build a biopharma manufacturing plant and ecosystem. And I'll talk a little bit about that at the end. So that's me in the Cadet Corps and second form in Jamaica. And this is me at Wolmer's in sixth form as a prefect with the prefect body. Some pretty cool people are in that picture. Dr. Sean Winter was my very good friend and classmate. He's in this picture. Dr. Leighton Taylor, a cardiologist who was in New York and now in Miami, is in this picture. Courtney Rattray, who is with the UN, is in this picture. And these are my gosh, I'm not good at this. These are my family members. Let's try that again. Let me try. If I go back. Right, my family members, my dad and my sisters, my mom and my sisters, my wife, and then some of the Wilmerians who I hung out with today in Jamaica last year and in Canada last year. So very much proud of being a Monroean and a Wilmerian. I'm also teaching with the IVI, the International Vaccine Institute in Korea, and I go there twice a year to teach courses, and we teach to 42 countries, about 200 attendees each time, and with a faculty of about 5 international speakers, including myself, we've taught about 800 people in biologics research and development, process development, manufacturing, quality management, and quality control. Sorry, just to mention, here we have Malaysia, the group from South Africa training, from Pakistan, from Egypt, and from Singapore. And this is all in the last 2 years. Let's talk about biopharma. Professor Roy talked about how excited she becomes to find a new virus. And the only thing I'd say is, find it, study it, just don't unleash it. But the beauty of biotechnology and the beauty of biologics and the beauty of research is it allows us to find proteins, viral proteins, bacterial proteins, proteins that come from tissues, whether mammalian, human even, animal or even plant. And these proteins, if purified and put into good clinical trials, can actually treat some very complex diseases, including cancers, cervical cancer, breast cancer, lung cancer, lymphoma, glioblastoma, which is brain cancer. So these are the kinds of entities, these are the kinds of viral and agents that we are looking to produce. And I'll tell you why I think Jamaica can do this. And you might say, really? Us? And I'm saying to you, after 38 years of being in this industry and still in this industry, the answer is yes. Pakistan is learning, Malaysia is learning, Vietnam is learning. I just came back from Malaysia in December. Colombia is learning. I'm going there next month. Jamaica needs to do this. No more excuses. No more waiting for somebody else to do it. We can do it, and the people I can help you to do it are coming to Jamaica to do it. So to treat hard and to treat complex conditions, to protect us from illness, and you know about vaccine technology and how it has worked, and you've especially known about it since COVID. Customized treatments, which we call the advanced therapeutic medicinal treatments, like we call them CGT, cell and gene therapy, and chimeric antigen receptor treatments with T cells, CAR T. The other thing about biologics is not only vaccines and treatments, personalized therapies, but also insulin, Hormones, for example, as you've seen when people are trying to get pregnant with IVF. Toxins, in Korea I worked at a botulinum toxin producing plant. Very good business. Only 5 countries in the world can do it. I was one of the people that was responsible for the 4 plants that do it. And we sold our product to the US and Europe. Jamaica can do it. And of course, blood products like heparin. I won't get into the details of how we make vaccines other than to say the science is incredibly advanced, complicated, and exciting. And especially after we went through COVID in the years 2020 to 2022, we really want to be able to know that we don't have to wait for a handout in the future. That we could actually be part of the global supply chain and even part of the research to bring new vaccine technology to not only the Jamaica and the Caribbean, because our demographic is only 4 million people, but also to Latin America, and sell our products to the US and Europe. If I can sell my product from Korea to the US and Europe, Jamaica can do it, because we have people who will mentor and coach. So, in terms of the vaccine technology, and let me just say something about vaccine technology. There are many countries in the world that say, we want to be self-sufficient in vaccines. Africa is doing it in a big way. They're pouring hundreds of millions of dollars into Africa to do it. South Africa is doing a good job. Rwanda is growing into it. The head of the International Vaccine Institute, Dr. Jerome Kim, is part of that effort to make sure that Africa grows well in vaccine self-sufficiency. But not just Africa, with hundreds of millions of dollars being given to them to do it. The Middle East is doing this. Malaysia and Southeast Asia is doing this. And the question is this the right strategy? And I have my thoughts, and I'll share that with you as we go through the slides. But all that to say is vaccine self-sufficiency alone is not the target. The target is the biologics industry. Infectious diseases come and they go. The research will continue, but if the infectious disease isn't showing itself in a population at a certain time, the manufacturing dies. And therefore, it's not sustainable. You can build a plant to make COVID vaccine in 2020 to 2021, and in 2022, there is no activity. And in 2023, the staff are doing nothing and have to be laid off. And in 2024, that plant is sold or it's decommissioned. It takes $300 to $400 million to build that plant. And that is a careful consideration of biotechnology and a careful consideration of vaccine self-sufficiency. Go into biotechnology, and when you are required, make sure your manufacturing can handle vaccine production. But don't focus on vaccines only. This is what you want to look at. You want to be able to make antibodies. You want to be able to make cell and gene therapy, including mRNA technology. This is a new science that's coming out since last year, antibody drug conjugates, which are used to deliver cytotoxic chemicals to the body to kill cancer. This is a new science in the world. This comes and it goes. Be careful. What we want to build in Jamaica is a plant that can make this. It's always with us, including these types of cancers, but in a pandemic or epidemic can pivot to making this as well. That's the focus for investors. These are the types of treatments that monoclonal antibodies can treat rheumatoid arthritis, Crohn's disease, colitis, psoriasis, cancer treatments, including T-cell lymphoma, breast cancer. These are the illnesses that are with us year after year after year, month after month, that people need treatment. And so monoclonal antibodies is what I want to hear you think about and ask questions about, not just vaccines, but be able to make vaccines when the time is right. And the technology to make monoclonals is the same technology to make vaccines. Celltrion is in Korea. I've met with them about 4 times in the last 2 or 3 years, since 2022. They want to expand into the US and Europe, and they're looking for a manufacturer to help them do it, but not necessarily to build a plant in the US. Building a plant in the US and staffing it in the US is very expensive. Between the US and Europe, it's the most expensive production cost for medications. Very good skill, very expensive plants. Highly paid workers, making on average in biopharma about $65,000 US on average. Entry level in biopharma in the US is about $45,000 US dollars a year. But if you get to a level where you're about 5 or 10 years in the business, you're making $60,000, $70,000, $80,000, $100,000 a year. And if you're getting into even more senior levels of research and leadership, you're making $180,000 to $200,000 US dollars a year in biotechnology. Jamaica can be a part of that industry because the world is looking for places to make it where you can make it at the quality standard of the US and Europe. And the world isn't finding many countries that can do it. India is starting to do it better. It took them about 10 years of mistakes to get to the right understanding that quality means everything. China is still failing in many regards when it comes to biopharma. Pills and capsules, they make beautifully. Biologics is a different science. And in many cases, they fail the quality standard of the US and Europe. Jamaica can do it right, as I've done it in Korea. And Jamaica can make product for the US and European markets and Canada and ship it globally, including to Latin America, if we're serious and committed to do it. And I'll explain what that means. But Celltrion in Korea, the largest biosimilar manufacturer in the world, a $3 billion company that is going to be $8 billion by 2030, is looking for manufacturers that they can do it with who they trust. And right now, they have 13 manufacturers in Europe, and they're looking to see if Jamaica could do it for them. And the reason I know is I worked in Korea 6 years and I've spoken with Celltrion. So let's talk about the ecosystem. And I really want not only the students and researchers to understand this, but the investors. Can you see my slides at the back? Can you see? Okay. Thank you. If you want to get into biologics, you don't just build a plant and start to produce drugs. There's no way, as Prime Minister Trudeau would say, there's not a snowball's chance in hell you will make money. You will fail miserably. You have to build that ecosystem, and it could take you 3 years, 5 years, 6 years, depends on how committed you are and willing you are. And I'll show you case studies where absolutely we can do it in Jamaica, and I'll show you a case study why. But let's start with this. The first thing is you need research, and usually that comes from academia. When I was in Malaysia in December for 2 weeks training on biotechnology, the Malaysian academic system, I was speaking with the University Malaya, which is in Kuala Lumpur, and a few other universities attended. They are the drivers of research in Malaysia. They have fantastic research in vaccines, in monoclonals, mostly in vaccines, and in mRNA technology. The problem is they don't have anybody to make it. You can have all the research you want. If you don't, A, have money that can continue to support the research, B, have money to allow you to test the research in clinical trials, and C, have money to build plants to manufacture or to send your research to a plant in another country for them to manufacture, your research goes nowhere. Other than you decide that you will sell your research for a royalty fee, in which case you get pennies on your investment. And that's what happens to research a lot without the support system of the ecosystem. And that's why I want you to pay specific attention to this slide. Research is very important. It can take 5 to 10 years, and it can cost. In industry, I can tell you, for a good product to make it to market, it can cost $300 to $500 million, US dollars. But if that product is successful in phase 1, 2, 3 clinical trials, and it gets approved by the FDA, you will make billions. The #1 selling drug in the world is Humira from AbbVie. I provided product to AbbVie from Korea. Humira sold 21 billion US dollars worth of sales alone in 1 year. 21 billion. Why? Pain, inflammation reduction, and rheumatoid arthritis. Humira, Humira. This product, that's what it treats. This product, that's who Celltrion makes for export. They don't make Humira, they make the biosimilar of Humira. But this molecule, adalimumab, a biologic, injectable, $21 billion a year. So if you do it right, your research, if successful and approved and manufactured, can generate 5 billion, 10 billion US a year. That supports research for the next 10 years. So we have to move from research to clinical trial, financing clinical trials. And that's where typically we stop. Because if you're going to have a clinical trial financed, you need $20 to $50 million. It takes about 2 to 3 years to get the results. And that's what the FDA or the European EMA or which the Japanese health agency will look at to approve your product for their market. This stage costs about 20 to 50 million US dollars. And typically in Jamaica, we can do this, but it's hard to get to here. Understandably hard. But to get to here, this is the part that helps you get here, the manufacturing. So this is the drug development side, which is the clinical trials, which needs to be done not only in Jamaica because we're too small to do clinical trials just for our country or region. It will be done using Latin America because you get thousands more people of different nationalities to be part of the clinical trial. The scale-up and validation is done by industry. The government then has to have a regulatory authority that's trained in biologics to be able to oversee the industry and to help the industry grow well and to approve new drugs. In addition, the industry is then manufacturing, approving, releasing the drug, storing and distributing the drug globally through a supply chain that uses aircraft and trucks to get to the airport. The type of people, one more thing. The key for this is you have suppliers, the global suppliers, typically from the US and Europe. By the way, in biologics, the most used raw material is water. Secondly, the investors have to be committed. I've traveled through the world, through the US, through Canada, through Switzerland, through France, through Germany, Italy to a lesser extent, and Korea. I'm teaching people from 42 countries. And the area where almost everybody stumbles is this area, the investors. And so to the investors, I'll say, if you are committed to seeing research grow in Jamaica, if you are committed to seeing a vision where we could actually be part of the biologics industry globally, if you are committed to seeing us be able to produce drugs not only for Jamaica, that won't sell enough, but to export to the world and earn foreign exchange, then we must be able to step up with an investor commitment, not only from the private sector, but also even from government, to say, we are willing to put this amount of money into biotechnology so that in manufacturing, we can generate cash flow for the development phase and the academia. And I will put that number into context. And for Jamaica today, that number is 80 million US dollars. 40 million from government, 40 million from the private sector. These are the type of people we will hire: biochemists, cellular biologists, microbiologists, immunologists, virologists, veterinarian studies, computational data analysts on the IT side, mycologists, applied chemists, pharmacologists, pharmacists, biologists, biotechnologists, microbiologists, immunologists, even physicians, because clinical trials are usually led by physicians. The whole spectrum of science, including engineering, life sciences, and IT, are involved in biotechnology and in biopharma manufacturing and research. The whole spectrum. So again, manufacturing drives the ability to invest in clinical trials and in research. I'm going to talk a little bit about manufacturing. I won't get into too many details because, again, we don't want to go down that path too much today, but I want to introduce you to a little bit about what's required in manufacturing. As you can appreciate, proteins are interesting molecules. A lot of what we're used to in Jamaica, and even in the manufacturing era, if we were doing pharmaceutical, is small molecule manufacturing for pills and capsules and tablets. It's a technology that's been done for decades, probably since the 50s, 60s, and before, the 40s. I know in Merck started in 1600s when they started with pills and capsules. But Jamaica is used to pills and capsules, even if we manufacture, for example, at Federated Pharmaceutical. But biologics is a whole different beast. Biologics is living organism, highly complex, fragile, sensitive to environmental conditions like heat, pH, oxygen levels, moisture, variable, living, difficult to be fully characterized, but you have to characterize them to get approval. So you have to invest in the science to characterize them. And characterization means the shape, the morphology, the chemistry, the electrostatic charge of the molecule. This is a biologic. This is a monoclonal antibody. It's about 1,000 times bigger than an aspirin molecule, Tylenol. Sorry, Tylenol is ibuprofen, so aspirin, acetyl salicylic acid. But this is about the size of Tylenol and Advil. This is the size of what we're making. And the complexity. It comes from living cells, tissues, microbes. The other thing about biologics is this. It's an injectable. You're not taking it orally. You take it orally, your digestive system can deal with some of the microbes that might be on that tablet. But when you inject it in your muscles or in your bloodstream, It's a different thing. Strict contamination controls. So the manufacturing has to have very strict controls. Quality controls, processing controls, CPPs, because it's critical to patient safety, and you will not have your manufacturing site approved by the US FDA or the Europeans unless you get this right. And that's why twice a year I go to Korea to teach industry from Africa, from Tanzania, Rwanda, South Africa, Ghana, from Jordan, from Pakistan, from Azerbaijan, from Uzbekistan, from Malaysia, from Philippines, from China they come to learn how to do this properly. And until they can learn properly, the Europeans and the US will continue to do it well and sell us their drug. So contamination control is key. And that's the kind of science that we would bring with biotechnology and biopharma manufacturing understanding. How to select a site. Very clear about water and air purity and dust and pollution. So you wouldn't build your site in a polluted area. And I'll show you where I plan to build a site in Jamaica. How to design these facilities for clean rooms and air pressure differentials, and how to design the site with filtration and sterile filtration. Again, everything about biopharma is contamination control. How to choose your material suppliers so that you have that confidence in the materials being of the right quality. How to train your people continuously in hygiene, gowning, and personal monitoring so that it can work in plants like this. And the ecosystem for biologics also requires very good storage, usually 2 to 8 degrees, air-conditioned storage, and transportation in air-conditioned trucks to the airport, and then fly the drug from the airport to the country that you're flying to, which is usually North America, Europe, or even Latin America, Korea, and Africa. The manufacturing process is a 5-step process. Research selects the protein and decides how to express the protein. Expression means, am I going to express this protein with cell-based technology, or am I going to use a more newer in vitro technology, which is called IVT, which is the mRNA technology? This is what research decides. Which protein am I going to express, and how will I express it? Then manufacturing gets involved. How do I make this protein in large amounts? This is called drug substance upstream processing. And I'll walk you through that process. How do I purify that protein? This is called drug substance downstream processing. A lot of chromatography and filtration. And then how do I fill that protein formulation into a vial or an ampule or a syringe? And that's the expertise that I've had for the last 34 years. With Sanofi, with Merck, with Pfizer, with GSK. And listen, it's only by the grace of God, the living God, why I'm here standing and telling you it's possible. Because I didn't plan this. I didn't develop a strategy to say, I am going to go to Pfizer for 10 years and work in research. I'm going to go to GSK for 5 years and work in quality. I'm going to go to Sanofi for 9 years and work in quality. I didn't design that strategy. I'm going to go to Korea for 6 years and help them build plants and manufacture. That's all God-breathed, God-given, God-blessed. And that's what Jamaica did for me. I accepted Jesus Christ in my life at 11 years old, Ridgemount Presbyterian Church, Mandeville. He is my Lord, He is my King, He's the center around which my life revolves. No other way. Secondly, Jamaica. For some reason about Jamaica, in our culture, we really think we're the center of the world. And we are not. But we think we are. So we go anywhere and we say, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. So I I just said, Lord, wherever you take me, I will go. He took me to Canada. I studied. I worked with Pfizer and GSK in Canada. He took me to Sanofi. I went to France and did projects with France and with the US. He took me to Merck. I was working in Switzerland and Germany. Frankfurt is the head office. And then he took me and he said, go to Korea. I said, really? Korea? I don't know anybody in Korea. He said, do you trust me? Go. 6 years in Korea, fabulous. I cried when I left. What am I saying? I didn't plan it. But I'm blessed to say that as I look back at where I've been, it has prepared me for today. It has prepared me for this moment. And I hope for each of you, high school students, working on your BSc, finish BSc working on your master's, finish master's working on your graduate thesis, finish on your PhD thesis, finish your PhD working on your postdoc, continue to work and continue to lean on the Lord for direction. Because at the end of the day, you can stand up and lead Jamaica forward in sciences, in areas that other countries are doing and think we can't do. And I'm telling you, we can do. If I can teach Korea to do it, even more reason why I know Jamaica can do it. So, protein selection and protein expression is part of what research will do. Manufacturing will do this. We will scale up the process, so instead of making milligrams of protein, you're making kilograms of protein, so you can fill doses up to 100 million doses a year. 100 million doses is not for Jamaica for cancer vaccine. 100 million doses is not for the Caribbean or even Latin America for cancer vaccine. 100 million doses for the world. And the demand is absolutely there. So, I work in plants in Korea, Sanofi, bioreactors, scaling up the protein, producing protein at kilogram levels. When you were in the lab in UWI, producing protein maybe at milligram levels. Let me tell you something. UWI, if you want to do biotechnology, make sure you really can do bioreactor technology, fermentation. Make sure the students know how to work on a fermenter. The beer industry is doing it, so I guess Red Stripe can do it. The biotechnology industry is not that much different, but a lot more controls. But the process is not that much different. But the contamination controls are different. I'm going to tell you right now, we can do it. If the Red Stripe can do it, the beer industry can do it, we can do it and make drugs. This is a bioreactor. To get from small scale through research to production scale 50 and 500 liters, fairly straightforward from a manufacturing standpoint. To get from 500 liters to 2,000 liters, 5,000 liters, and even up to 10,000 liters, which is what the plant will build, that's where you have to be really careful and apply science. So engineers in the room, you have a huge future ahead of you in biotechnology. Not just the biologists, not just microbiologists, not just biotechnologists, engineers, IT people, control system people, AI people is becoming a big deal for biopharma. So this is what a bioreactor, how it works. And this is Samsung Biologics bioreactor room. I was there 2 years ago. That's Samsung Biologics plant 1. Today, Samsung Biologics has 4 plants generating over $2 billion of revenue a year. I think this year, 2025, they will go up to $5 billion of revenue a year. One of my plants will generate $500 million of revenue per plant, and we want to build 3 plants, $1.5 billion, and then see if we expand in Jamaica or expand through the Caribbean. Samsung and other areas. This is East Coast Canada. These are bioreactors. This is the essence of your protein. Learn this technology, UWI. And it's not that hard. You must just make sure your students learn it if they want to get into biomanufacturing. This is purification and centrifugation skids to purify that protein in what's called DS, harvesting and concentration, and further purification. And these plants are about 100,000 square feet big for DS. And then you're going to go into storage, cryogenic storage at -70, a cell bank -40, master cell bank and working cell bank. And then you fill finish. This is what my fill finish line would look like in Korea. Aseptic conditions. Each operator trained in aseptic gowning, hygiene, and how to move and how to act in a situation like this. This is called this is called an isolator system. Nobody goes inside, they just reach in with gloves. These are the gloves. This is the vial filling line. This is what we can build in Jamaica. Why? When I went to Korea, I went to Plant 2. We had one of these lines, not as big. Then we built Plant 3. We had this line. Then we built Plant 4. And we have 4 of these lines. We built those 3 plants. We built Plant 2 in 2015. That's when I went. We built Plant 3 in 2017. We built Plant 4 in 2020. In the 6 years I was in Korea, we built 3 plants. For Jamaica, I'd like to build 3 plants in 15 years. But if we're good, we can build it in 10. Each plant generates $500 million a year in revenue. And I'll talk about those numbers shortly. So this is a fill finish line, isolator line. This is the latest technology. This is a technology I'm discussing. Just in February, Bosch and Strobel flew up to Canada to meet me. And they sat with me and says, Michael, we can have this line ready for you in 16 months. I said, great. Let's make sure Jamaica is ready. Jamaica, are you committed to doing biotechnology really? Or do you just want to do research? Because you will fund the research with this. And this is funded by first Jamaican investors saying, we want to do it. Because the World Bank is waiting, the European Investment Bank is waiting, Inter-America Development Bank is waiting in Washington, Celltrion is waiting in Korea, and the only people left to make a decision is Jamaica. If you want it, it will come. But they don't think you want it because nobody has shown interest that they really want to do it. And the truth is, I think the vision is so big that some Jamaicans say, we can't do this. I'm a Jamaican. I'm standing here to tell you, you can do this. We can do this, but you have to want it. Because the rest of the world wants you to want it and do it. Because they don't want to build more plants in America. Trump might want you to build more plants in America, but the global industry doesn't because it's too expensive in America. They want to build it in Jamaica. Why is Jamaica special? We have free trade agreements with America and Europe. And Korea knows that, and they said, is Jamaica moving? And I said, I'm waiting to see. Minister Nigel Clark was with us last year, and he was excited about the project. He's now with the IMF. Minister Favour Williams, please, let's meet. So these are the equipment that CEPI, the Coalition of Epidemic Preparedness and Innovation in the UK, under Matthew Downham. Matthew Downham said, we will pay for that equipment if Jamaica is ready. Jamaica, are you ready? Are you serious, or you just like to talk about research? This is mRNA vaccine technology. I won't go into details. We can make it here. It's easier. The plasmid DNA technology from which mRNA comes is cell-based technology. That's what I do. The mRNA technology is actual chemical synthesis. It's an easier technology, smaller plants. And everybody wants to do it because it's cheaper and easier. Do not compete with everybody. Make it cell-based. Make it cell-based, and then you can pivot to mRNA. So plant 1 is monoclonal, cell-based manufacturing, bioreactor technology. Plant 2, mRNA technology. And when we build plant 3, you tell me what you want. You want vaccines, recombinant protein technology? What do you want? And what does the world want? And at what point are we ready now to produce our own vaccines for Latin America and the Caribbean? So why make our own biologics? I'm going to go very quickly on these slides. Obviously for supply. Obviously we want to have control over the supply, because we want it when we need it, like COVID. We don't want to wait and get something from another country that we're not sure if it's the right vaccine. So if you could have gotten maybe Pfizer's vaccine or Moderna's vaccine, maybe that's the one you'd have wanted. But maybe we have to settle for somebody else's vaccine that nobody else wanted. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm just saying now you have choice. And not only do you have choice, but you actually get to improve this, which is why we're here on Research Day. How can we improve our people, our smart, hardworking, very conscientious and capable students that come out of high school? How can we get them into science and say, stay in science because there's a future in science, and you don't have to go to a BPO, or you don't have to go to a hotel, or your only route to come from science is a doctor. No, we have to give them options. And this option is extremely important, I believe, for Jamaica. Human capital development, healthcare system improvement, and actual financial growth, because each plant will generate $445 million worth of revenue, 30% earnings on the 445 from biopharma. And that money is reinvested in STEM education and research. Also, it makes us active participants in the global supply chain, even as we are preparing for the next epidemic or pandemic. God forbid. God forbid, but don't take your eye off that. It will come. And it keeps and attracts the best and brightest of UWI and UTech and the people who have left Jamaica to work abroad and want to come back and work in science. This is the market. I won't spend a lot of time, but investors, I can walk you through this in a Q&A later today. This is the market size by 2032, $566 billion. Each plant generates $500 million worth of revenue. These are the market trends, 3 trends. Companies want to nearshore their manufacturing to the US and Europe. Jamaica is absolutely perfect for nearshoring. And companies don't want to spend US dollars in US if they can spend those US dollars in Jamaica and make the same product but a more attractive price. And I know it because Korea is asking us to do it. Why Jamaica? These are the 10 reasons why Jamaica. Nearshore, modern world-class transshipment, 3 airports, 3 airports, 2 world-class seaports. Duty-free access to US and Europe, perfect. That alone sells us. But this especially sells us. What else? We do have a pharmaceutical regulatory environment, but it's weak. Remember the ecosystem. We need to strengthen the Ministry of Health pharmaceuticals inspectors and reviewers. We must train them and grow them, and we can. And we have commitments from Anvisa in Brazil and the Health Canada to do this. And I'm speaking with the Irish to do this for us, or with us, for the inspectors. Our education standard is high, and I've mentioned UWI and UTech. We are saying that we want to focus on STEM, but are we really funding STEM enough? And I think we can do more with manufacturing. We communicate in English. We don't have to fly to China or India to get our product. You can fly 3 hours to Jamaica. As you can see from the map, Jamaica is right here, and in an hour and a half, you're in Miami. In 2 hours, 2.5 hours, you're in Atlanta. Perfect. For Europe, 7 hours, you're in the UK or you're in Europe. Perfect. For me to ship from Korea to Chicago, which is AbbVie, it's a 2-day shipment. It has to go through Abu Dhabi or Dubai. For Jamaica, it's hours. And it's high-value shipment, so we don't want to stop halfway in some country where it's hot, like Abu Dhabi or Dubai. We want to have it move, boom, right into the US. These are the challenges and risks for researchers and investors. We already have addressed this with the World Bank, and they're fully satisfied we can do this. Skilled staff, as I said to Professor Roy, are they available? The answer was yes, and the answer is still yes. The raw material is here. We have to train them in biopharma manufacturing, and we can do it in the next 3 years. Is the authority ready? No, but they need to be upskilled. With Health Canada, US FDA has been, we've approached them, but also with Ireland. How about utilities? We'll build our own utility production on site. So we'll have our own on-site 10 megawatt generation plant. Raw materials, we already have those relationships, no problem. I just spoke with Bosch and Strobel last month, with Getinge last month, and with GEA. I'm actually supposed to meet them in 2 weeks, April the 1st to 3rd, in New York. And there's a market available. We are not trying to ask for approval yet. We're just manufacturing for Pfizer or Novartis or Celltrion for products already approved for the US and European market. As we get better at this and research improves, then we can start developing our own molecules, and then the money is used for clinical trial and the submissions to finance the submissions and approvals. But for us, a manufacturing site, it's already approved. Ireland, 1970, they didn't know anything about biopharma. 1970, the GDP per capita was $1,000 per year, not per month, per year. Okay, it's 1970. Today, 2000, they started building pharma companies, and they actually built their first biopharma. By 2023, they had built 90 biopharma plants. Each one of these dots is biopharma. They built 90, and they're generating $88 billion a year from Ireland, which only has 5 million people. But when Ireland started, they only had 2.5 million, which is Jamaica. Jamaica is 2.8 million people. We have the people. We have the time now to do it. We just have to have the willingness and the commitment. So this is Ireland. Stan O'Neill just called me. Today is what? Thursday? He called me Tuesday. Michael, how's it going? I said, Stan, I'm coming to see you. He lives in Dublin. He was a senior inspector and trainer for the Irish Health Authority. He came to Jamaica last year. Some of you may have met him. Stan O'Neill was here. Senior inspector, Irish Health Authority. He said, we want to help. But does Jamaica, and he said, how is it going? I said, I'm meeting with government officials this week. Samsung Biologics, I've told you how they grew from nothing in 2011, 10 years later, 12 years later, $2.2 billion a year. This is me in Korea. This is plant one, the first plant built in 2006. I wasn't in Korea yet. Very old style plant. They did what they could. I just advise you, don't build old just because you don't have any money. Get the money first. World Bank is willing to help you build. CEPI, IDB Invest is willing to help you build, as long as Jamaica wants to build. This is the first plant. This is with the manufacturing director for the plant. Second plant, which is where I came in, it was built in 2015. I arrived in Korea May 2015. That's my office. This is what the plant looks like. That's exactly what it looks like. That plant is a plant supplying the US since 2017 actually. I came 2015. The plant was ready to manufacture for the US 2017, 2 years. I told them it would take 3 to 5. It took 2 because we pushed hard and I worked like a beast. That's plant 3. You see the difference? When you build a plant, if you do it right, you don't stop. So plant 1 was built 2006. Then I came, plant 2, 2015, 2017. 2019 we built plant 4. This is plant 3. Plant 4 is almost twice the size of this. Let me just remind you, in 6 years we built 3 plants. I would like Jamaica to build 3 plants in the next 10 years. I will give you 15 years if you need it, but we can do it in 10. This is my management team. I was the only foreigner in the whole company. When I came in 2015, and then I hired a guy from Cameroon to join me, and I hired a lady from Canada to replace me when I left in 2021. I'm the head of the plants, and this is my management team, some of them. Some of the people I work with, having a Meditox day at one of the local entertainment areas, and this is the the QA team of ladies. And I'll tell you one other thing. Biopharma loves bringing women into manufacturing and technology. My favorite people to work with in biopharma, and men, I'm sorry if I upset you, is the women. Women are more diligent, they follow procedures, they really want to do the right thing, and they make sure that if something is going wrong, they will tell you. Men take a page from the women, because globally I see this happening. The women are playing huge roles in biopharma. So biopharma brings women into the science in multitudes, not just men, not just engineers. Women engineers, QC, QA, manufacturing. Yeah, a lot of manufacturing people are men. But women engineers, please come and work in biopharma. And IT, because we're going into data management a lot more in biopharma. So this is plan 3. Plan 4 is even bigger. And when I say this is plan 3, I'm saying this plant hires about 400 people. This plant has 4 filling lines. HSL Biotechnologies will have 3. 2 vial, 1 syringe. This is the co-founder of the company and the head of research. This is the research facility in Korea. This is the head office in Seoul, Korea, in Gangnam. You know Gangnam style. This is Gangnam, Tehran Row. And this is Dr. Yang, Gi-hyuk Yang, Yang Gi-hyuk. And every time I go back, we meet for dinner and we talk about biopharma. And he says, Michael, or he says in Korean, Michael, because he speaks English but not so good. Michael, what is happening? Taking too long. I said, I know Dr. Yang, I know Dr. Yang, I know. That's what the plant will look like in Jamaica. DS, DP, QC, engineering, process development, warehousing, utility building for power and steam, administrative offices for QA, regulatory affairs, project management, clinical trials, clinical trial management. This is the land sites we're looking at. Here in Lidford Center and Monique, here, Old Harbor, and as a third option, here, Queen of Spain Valley, Mobe. My preference, you can tell me what your preference is. My preference, here, Old Harbor, close to Spanish Town, Portmore, and Kingston. I really like it. 20 minutes on the east-west highway. This highway north-south is too expensive, crazy. So I prefer to be here. But I have to be careful of coastal air, hurricanes, and I just have to make sure I stay away from pollution. But this area is very nicely done, and there's land to build. Those are specifications on the plant. And that's some financials. Investors, yes, we have the financials, and we have the pro forma. Anyway, closing remarks, and then we can wrap up. Biopharma, and this is like 5 minutes and we're done. Biopharma. There are too many people that go into it for the money. Big mistake. You have to believe in it. If you're going as an investor to try and cash out in 3 years, don't bother talk to me. Find somebody else to invest in. Biopharma is patient money, long play money. You will start getting your dividends in years 3 to 5. But your payback is at 26 to 28% return on your investment, return on equity. Biopharma is patient money. It takes 4.5 years to build a plant. But when you build it right, that plant will last you 20 to 25 years. And longer. And the plant is approvable by the US and Europe, which is what you need. You're not selling your drugs to Jamaica only. 96% is export. 4% is for the Caribbean, including Jamaica. Why? 4 million people don't need 100 million doses. 96% of the plants manufacturing is for export. You pick your country. I can tell you right now, they want it exported to the US and Europe because that's 80% of the global market. 80% of the biologics global market is US and Europe. They buy 80% of the drug. The other 20% is shared around the world. Canada is like 3%. Asia Pacific is about 10%. And that doesn't even consider what Latin America is with its hundreds of millions of people for the future. Do it right. Documentation is the key. Follow procedures. No shortcuts. You must speak up if something goes wrong. Each drug substance batch is worth about $3 million, and we make about 30 batches a year. Honesty always. Don't lie, don't cover up. If you start thinking you can, you've lost. Forget biopharma. Regular audits and regulatory inspections, including from the local authority in Jamaica, regional authority, and whichever market you sell to, the US, Europe, and if you sell in Germany, the Germans have their own authority. If you sell in France, France has its own authority. Quality first, always. If you're going in for the money only, stay away from biopharma. You must do it right. If you do it right, you're going to make money. And you will make good money. Meditox Korea's stock price, when in 2018, 2019 was $680 a share. When I went there, it was $200 a share in 2015. $680 a share in 2019. Today, it's not that way anymore. It's about 200 and something a share. Do it right, then you can go faster. Always quality, which means you're accountable for your work. Be punctual, be efficient, be respectful. Men and women, give it your best, and you can make biopharma as good as anywhere else in the world. And that includes the US and Europe. Look after your juniors in terms of your people skills and leadership skills, and grow to be as an expert in biologics. It's a very rewarding career. I'm standing here to tell you, after 30, I started in 1986 with Pfizer. You can figure it out because, I mean, you can figure when I graduated and when 1986 I started with Pfizer. I've never looked back. So 2025 is 39 years in biopharma. I can tell you it's a very rewarding career, and you could be the next person visiting other parts of the world, telling them how to make it as a Jamaican. The innovation is continuous. It never stops. And now we're looking at antibody drug conjugates, mRNA technology, and who knows what the next research will come up with. It's like the Goldilocks moment of biopharma. Everything about innovation is happening right now, not just with COVID, even before. But because we were ready with innovation, mRNA technology became evident in COVID. Facility designs are changing, equipment is changing, technologies, processes are being upgraded, and I could tell you more, but we don't have time. And the final thing is that the final thing? Yeah. The final thing is, biopharma is looking for leaders. First of all, they're looking for people who can do it well, which means you'll be trained, but you can't lie. You can't pretend you did something and you didn't do it. You can't document and I fixed this or I changed this or I checked this and you didn't do it. You'll be found and you'll be fired. You must be diligent and trustworthy. And I'm not just saying this to Jamaicans, you know. I say it especially to Koreans. Why? Because Koreans rush. They want to go fast. They're so hungry. They want to go fast. Let's do it. Let's build this plant in 2 years. Let's build this plant in 16 months. I'm going to say do it right first. So leaders, you must be willing, as leaders, future leaders from UWI in biopharma and biotech, treat your people right, patient focus first, work with people well, and you will advance. And you will do the kind of work that you are always dreamed of, to influence younger people, to grow in biotechnology and research, and to be able to make money to invest back in biotechnology and research. By the way, Meditox Korea is an excellent research facility. But research and manufacturing is two different quality standards. Research is more innovative and creative. Manufacturing is more do it right. You can't just create on the fly. And documentation is absolutely key. Follow your documents. With that in mind, that's my talk for today. I was running along Shortwood Road not yesterday, 2 days ago, and I saw this sign, and I loved it, and I took a picture. Through difficulty to refinement, Shortwood practicing infant primary and junior high school. Through difficulty to refinement. I think that's Jamaica right now. We can come through this. We can be more productive. We can access capital. The capital is waiting and they're saying, do you really want this, Michael, in Jamaica? I said, yes, absolutely. Does Jamaica really want this? I said, that's for them to tell me now. But we're ready and we're waiting. So when Jamaica wants it, Jamaica will tell me, starting with government, and government is already saying they want it, but they have to really want it, and investors have to really want it, because this will change the fabric of the nation in science, in leadership, in global impact, in healthcare, for global supply chain of healthcare like vaccines and monoclonals, and in terms of building the financial growth of our country and region. And that's my talk today. If there are any questions, I know the time is finished, please come and see me after, during the break. Thanks so much. That's my Korean bow.
Thank you very much, Michael. Exactly what I expected. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to pivot. We have coffee break at the back of the room. If anybody feel like some coffee, then you can do that at your own leisure. Oh, I'm sorry, Michael, we have a presentation. Michael, come back. We have a presentation to give you, and then we're going to move into the pitches. So we're going to forego the video presentation of the pitches, so I'm asking Simone Badal to get ready. Remember, the little boy from Manchester with big dreams. Remind me of Denzel Williams when he sent me, go attract capital to research. Or Professor Aldrin Henry Lee, always telling us, listen, Marcia, you need to improve research supervision on the campus and the PhD students will come. I like visionaries. It's incredible. We have to think big. I'm the little bush girl from St. Elizabeth. Come a town, come turn, professor. What a story.
This is outstanding. I can't wait to put this on at home.
In the factory.
Or in the factory.
We want it on the office wall in the factory.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. So ladies and gentlemen, just reminding you, we have coffee break at the back of the room, and we're going to move into our first pitch. We're going to have Dr. Simone Badal, and she developed the first cancer cell line for the Caribbean. Simone.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me speak to you guys today. So there is a growing concern in the wider community when they hear anything about cancer research. I hear, Simone, you guys have been doing cancer research for over 100 years. Where's the solution? Why am I not seeing anything? And these are all reasonable arguments. When you look at how our understanding of cancer has evolved from thinking that tumors were immobile and we could just remove them or cure a person using surgeries, to thinking we need to supplement tumors with drugs, chemotherapy. That didn't work. To thinking cancers are infectious. That didn't work. To us thinking now we have a wholesome picture, that one drug or two drugs can't treat breast cancer. We have to think of this more deeply. So it's like testing a car on highways only and expecting that car to drive on all types of roads, especially Jamaican roads. That's insane. And that's exactly the model or the modus operandi that have been employed in cancer research over the decades. So if you look at two cancers of concern for us as Jamaicans and in the Caribbean, prostate and breast come to mind. You ask yourself the question, why is it that our black men are 2 times more likely to die from prostate cancer than a white man with the same type of prostate cancer? Why is it that our black women who are less likely to develop breast cancer are 40% more likely to die from breast cancer compared to a white woman with the same type of breast cancer? The answer is simple. The way that we have been employing cancer research has been biased to one type of group. In the first 2 steps, here you see the steps 1 and step 2. For those 2 cancers that I just mentioned, prostate, breast, the tools that we typically use to investigate, to understand the cancers, these are called cell lines. We go online, we purchase them, we go in our fancy labs, we do our research. 98% of prostate cancer cell lines available to us around the world are from white men. More than 90% breast cancer cell lines are from white women. So then, does that answer the question as to why perhaps we're having higher death rates? So how do we fix this? We fix this by increasing representation of our people at all stages of drug development. And so even though they said, Simone, don't do it, it's too risky, we tried it in our fancy labs in the States, it did not work. We said, no, we're going to do it. And it took us 5 years to develop the first Caribbean cell line, which so happens to be a prostate cancer cell line. And already that is licensed with one particular drug company for drug testing. And we recently created 3 breast cancer cell lines. And we're observing that these cell lines are showing a great degree of adaptability, which could mean, or it could answer why certain cancers are resistant to the treatments that we're giving them. So, the cell line development market, this attracts like $2 billion in revenue annually, with the fastest growing segment being for cancer cell lines of like 16% or more. When you look at the pharmaceutical companies specific for cancer drug development, last year, October, they reported revenues of 200 to 250 billion US dollars. So there is market potential. So for our cell lines, there are 2 commercial applications. One, the licensing of these cell lines immediately. And these can range between 2 to 10%. And if this is a product that is in demand, you can ask for up to 20%. The second is using these cell lines in this drug development pipeline so that we can make drugs for our people. And we're sitting in Jamaica, the Caribbean, where we have so many untapped natural resources here. So for the latter part, which I'd love to talk to you guys more about, it would take roughly 5 to 10 million to develop such a facility here. We're one of the first of its kind here, it's needed. But I know some people are going to say, okay, Simone, that's too much money. But the real question is it really too much money to fix this for people? And if you look at the long-term gains, is it really too much? So to ease you, I'm just asking for 750,000 so we can expand on the number of cell lines that we have. This will give us funds to employ persons, buy lab equipment, and further dig into the science as to why these drugs that are developed, how are they differentially impacting black versus whites? So ladies and gentlemen, we're not just doing innovative science, we are doing science that will level the playing field for all Black persons. And I'm asking you to participate in our research. Thank you.
We have some roving mic if anybody is interested in any questions. If later on you want to speak to Simone or any of the other researchers, then we have a lounge area where you can go and have a conversation with the researchers. Do we have any question for Simone? Okay, all right, thank you very much, Simone. Remember, we have coffee at the back of the room, and we have a lounge area where you can have a conversation with the researchers if you're interested. Howard Reed is going to come and tell us about black castor oil. Howard, I know my grandmother used to use black castor oil in my hair.
Good morning, everyone. I'm here to share with you from an institute that has been working for 20 years in meeting Jamaica's industry needs about Jamaican black castor oil, which has been with us for 300 years. Jamaica black castor oil is part of the fabric of our country. And as Marsha just said, used for hair and skin care, and it actually has exploded on the global marketplace. JBCO, or Jamaican black castor oil, next slide. Oh, it's me. Oh dear. Yeah, Jamaican black castor oil it has a market globally in the hundreds of millions of dollars. And just a simple illustration of how it's made. It's made from Jamaican castor beans, castor seeds, pounded, boiled, and then you have a picture of the oil there. So there's a tremendous opportunity there. We have been working on a project with this is not good. Sorry, this is not. Not sorry. Oh, that one. Right. All right. That's right. Cool. Okay. No problem. So there's also a great market for Jamaican black castor oil cosmetic and personal care products. There's a huge demand, but there's not very many authentic Jamaican black castor oil products on the market. Thirdly, what we have developed from the byproducts or the waste of the Jamaican black castor oil processing are organic fertilizers, which show tremendous potential. Now, what's the problem? Jamaica only has, less than 2% of the global market. And we have lost it to competitors globally. And why is that? We didn't tell the world what is Jamaican black castor oil, what are the standards, and we did not protect it. We didn't get a geographic indication. What's a geographic indication? A GI is really just a mark that says that if it's not from a particular geographic place with particular qualities made a certain way, you can't call it Jamaican black castor oil. Similarly, there's a big market for the personal care and cosmetics, and the gold standards of organic fertilizers really are controlled or slow release fertilizers, and there are not very many on the global market. What's the solution? The solution really is the development of standards for all three items that I just mentioned, and also intellectual property protection. And we heard a lot about that this morning. In terms of why now, there's a global market estimated for cosmetics for $532 billion in 2019. $140 billion of that is in skincare, and 110 billion is in hair care products. We spoke about the reputation of JBCO and why we're here now. Coming out of a Compete Caribbean sponsored study, we have been leading the development of IP protection and development of new products for Jamaica black castor oil. And we, in the next 24 to 36 months, we want to build on that work to develop with the Bureau of Standards Jamaica, what are the standards, tell the world what is JBCO, secondly, get it protected with a GI, and thirdly, work with the National Certification Body of Jamaica to get certification marks. If you look at, in terms of the market, the global market, as I said, was 300 billion in 2018. It's estimated to be 450 billion in 2027. If you're looking at just one item of the personal care and cosmetic market, toilet soaps, that's 21 billion globally, with the US market alone being 1.7 billion. And the area that I think that Jamaica can play a big role in is organic soaps. And that market globally is 2.14 billion. In terms of organic fertilizers, last year it was 12.34 billion and estimated in 2034 to reach almost 22 billion. So they are huge markets. In terms of United States market, just to zero in on JBCO, they import about 28 million US dollars worth in 2019, and that's 10% of the global market, and they import really over 90% of their product. In Jamaica, JBCO is ours, and we import over 75%. So all those brands you see on the shelves are imported brands. In terms of what are we saying? We are proposing a business model to monetize the work that we have and really to drive the protection of Jamaican black castor oil for Jamaica and to get it into the global, to claw back that market that should be ours. So we now have benchtop know-how for JBCO processes, JBCO products and formulations, which have, we think, strong possibility of intellectual property protection. And we're also developing other potentially valuable Jamaica black castor oil products. In terms of what are we saying, this year, 2025, if we get the funding, we're proposing that we form a special purpose JBCO IP vehicle, which will own the IP that's being developed, raise funds, that's why we're here, to continue the R&D, and lastly, this company will license for royalty, which is how we'll earn, to commercial producers. And in terms of, we want to, in this year, protect IPP, intellectual property protection, for what we have already developed. In the medium term, of course, we mentioned the standards and the GI. We're looking at pilot plant production and getting that right efficiently. We're looking at completing the development of the whole suite of JBCO value-added products, and this was advised that we should do this by the lawyers, and we want to begin earning royalty. So that's the main means that we're going to earn in the 2026 to 2029 period. In terms of long-term and beyond, licensing all the JBCO value-added products and IPP that we have, and we have a whole stream of things. How will we protect? Because it's not just short-term, and you heard Michael speak about long-term R&D. This will monetize and in terms of looking at unique products, processes, continuous R&D, etc. In terms of looking at financial projections, and what are we looking for? We're asking for $1 million in pre-seed financing for project preparation, and the business plan that we have calls for $5 million additionally over 5 years. Now, we have looked at some key ratios in year 5. And we made some assumptions. The assumptions being that by 2029, producers in Jamaica will produce 30% of the global demand. In terms of the products that we're looking at, 0.003% of organic soap market we're looking to target, and a mere 0.01% of the global organic fertilizer market. So very modest targets. And when we're looking at, we think that revenue, we have calculated revenue at compounded annual growth rate of 37%, per annum. Return on equity after 5 years in year 5 of 43%, and the projected income, total income by year 5 of $20 million. In terms of, we have a valuation of $75 million for the work that we're doing in year 5, and if successful, we're looking to develop an exit plan for investors in year 7. In terms of social responsibility, this project, if successful, is looking for an additional 15,000 acres to be grown of agriculture in Jamaica. We're also looking at increasing exports from 1,086 metric tons, but at 5 million, to $300 million. And this will generate an additional 20,000 jobs. And if you look at it, if you project based on, so we'll earn royalty, but if you look at what will come to Jamaica, is an additional $1 billion can come into Jamaica through the use of a more scientific way of developing this industry. It's a totally circular economy industry, so there's no wastage at all. We have a team that has been working for the last 2 to 3 years, so the team is in place, and we're ready to go, and it's a very talented team that has been successful. Thank you, and any questions?
Hello, I'm just wondering if I could ask you about the business of salt in castor oil. I have a source that I've used from Clarendon and one from Milk River to get my black castor oil to make sure it's authentic, blah, blah, blah. And the Rasta guru who makes mine said to me, look here, mine what you buy at all times from the field in Jamaica, because some of it has salt. Now, I don't know why it has salt. I don't know if it's to raise the boiling point or what and do it faster. But he said you cannot use that one in your hair, because if you use castor oil with salt in it and go in the sea, your hair will drop out. So what is the salt in the one that is not properly standardized yet? What is that about, if you don't mind my asking?
Well, we have sampled maybe 100 samples from producers across the country, and we did not find any with salt. So that's great. What we have heard is that people use the salt sometimes to shorten the time. But from the authentic persons that we have found right across Jamaica, we never found any salt in any of them.
Hi, morning. Christopher Brown from the Development Bank of Jamaica.
Hi, morning, Christopher.
Morning. I'm trying to understand, I guess I have a couple of questions. So you spoke about things that you've developed.
Yes.
I'm trying to understand what has been developed, firstly.
Yes.
And then the second thing is, what are you planning to try and earn royalties from? As in my interpretation, it sounds like what you are doing or what you presented speaks on an industry development side, which I'm not sure who would own that to be able to generate royalties from that. So if you can just expound or provide clarity for me, so I understand who I'm talking to or what we're talking about.
So,
Thanks.
so the work was done by the University of the West Indies. It was funded by Compete Caribbean, which was administered by the IDB. So really, these are the stakeholders that are involved in this. What have we developed? We have developed, I can't speak of everything because I don't want to give away everything. We'll have to talk afterwards. But what I can speak of is that we have developed value-added products in cosmetics and value-added products in fertilizer. And you can come to our poster, which have shown fantastic results so far. And there are other things as well. So essentially what we're looking to do is actually do pilot scale production of these things and really license that to commercial companies. And what we're looking for is just royalty on that. So essentially the special purpose vehicle that we're talking about will earn from royalty, and we'll have companies. So we have looked at, there are at least 3 strong IP candidates that we have now. And we think that we have another 8 or 9 to come. So we're looking for funding to carry that. And just another part of what I want to answer you, there's something that we refer to as public IP and private IP. What's the public IP? The public IP is that for this to make sense, Jamaica has to get the standards. We have to get the GI. So it means that we have done genetic work that essentially we have found unique Jamaica Castor variants, only found here. And essentially we're saying that to produce Jamaica Black Castor Oil, you have to use Jamaican castor plants and seeds with these unique variants. So it means that you have to do it in Jamaica, and that's the standard that we have proposed to, or proposing to the Bureau of Standards Jamaica. So Jamaica will have that, but layered on top of that are value-added products, which are different. And I spoke to the stakeholders who played a part in the development. So we're hoping that by 2-3 years' time, we'll have products that Jamaican commercial companies would be interested in taking to the world. And why that's important, with a GI, I should say this to you, we now are able to go anywhere in the world and take the oil off the shelf and know whether it's from Jamaica or not. So it means that enforcement now becomes very practical. So I think we have a strong product.
Thank you very much, Dr. Reed. Looks like you need a lounge to finish this discussion.
Thank you, Professor Roy.
Reminding you, we have coffee break and we have lounges. I'm going to invite Professor Delgado and her team, Drs. William Irvin and Kimberly Foster, to talk about extraction of psilocybins from Jamaican mushrooms to treat mental illness and other diseases.
Go forward first. You're okay to go forward? Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, we have a sleepy tent. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here. Did you know that 1 in 8 persons suffers from a mental disorder? Did you know that anxiety, depression, and substance abuse are the most common of those? Did you also know that treatment resistance and failure occurs up to 60% of the time? It's amazing to me that there is a solution for this problem from nature in the form of psilocybin mushrooms, used by ancient civilizations over millennia. These mushrooms have been proven to be effective against PTSD, cancer-related existential crises, depression, and anxiety. But clinical data for such comes from the pharmaceutical synthetic form of psilocybin. And therein lies where our advantage comes in. There's very limited data on the mushroom itself. And why is that important? Because there's only a handful of countries in the world where it is legal to cultivate and examine these mushrooms, and one of those is right here in Jamaica. So therefore, this project proposes to prepare a very highly characterized natural mushroom extract for us to investigate its value in multiple disease forms.
So what exactly is psilocybin? So psilocybin is a small molecule that is broken down in our bodies into psilocin. And psilocin is very similar in structure to serotonin, which is a hormone responsible for regulating mood. Psilocin also has additional benefits, which include the promotion of neuroplasticity, anti-inflammation, and modulation of the gut microbiome. Psilocybin is produced by many types of mushrooms, and in our labs, we currently cultivate 18 species. We are always growing that number, and this is very unique because not many labs produce even more than one type or species of mushroom. So this is a great opportunity to explore the wide-ranging beneficial properties of these mushrooms. So in our lab, we were very interested in how psilocybin is produced in these mushrooms. So it is derived from tryptophan via tryptamine intermediates through a pathway involving 4 enzymes. And these structures for these 4 enzymes were proposed by our lab in 2023, which has enabled detailed mechanistic insight into interactions involving these tryptamines. So who is in our team? So on stage today, we have Professor Rupico Delgado, who is a biochemist. She's responsible for oversight and bioactivity. We have Dr. Foster, another biochemist, who's responsible for growth and cultivation. We have myself, another biochemist responsible for molecular modeling. Other members of our team include Dr. Morrison, a chemist, Mr. Thankapan, an HPLC technician, Mr. Daniel, who oversees production, and we partner with a psychiatrist, Dr. Delahaye, who uses our products in his clinical treatment. We've also contributed a few publications to the field, which has garnered wide attention.
We are uniquely positioned because we have a GMP certified facility in which we use patented technology to cultivate our mushrooms in order to process them and create high quality products in the form of mushroom powders, capsules, and chocolates. Each of our products, we supply a certificate of analysis that details the safety of our product. So what is our goal? We aim to prepare a proprietary extract from the psilocybin mushrooms. So we start out with the fresh mushrooms, dry it, powder it, and extract using different solvents. Then we characterize it. What will we do with this extract? So we want to provide this extract to clinicians for use in psychiatry and potential clinical trials. We also want to conduct several bioactivity assays, including anti-cancer screenings, safety screenings, and molecular docking analysis.
Right. So what kind of money are we asking about today? So in the first year, we hope to prepare the extract and characterize it, which would cost approximately $50,000 US. In the second year, we hope to investigate the bioactivity of this extract, so its psychoactivity, its anti-cancer properties, and so on. This would cost approximately $200,000 US, which includes reagents, students, and so on. In the third year, we hope to prepare this extract for first phase clinical trials, which would cost around $300,000 US. It is important to note that if we are able to generate this proprietary extract and get it through clinical trials, this is expected to yield significant returns. And I would like to mention that the market share of mental health drugs is approximately $40 billion, and it is important to note that psilocybin and psilocybin mushrooms don't only treat one disorder, but several. Lastly, if we want to truly characterize this extract to the best of our abilities, ideally we want to be using a HPLC mass spectrometer, which would cost around $500,000 US.
So, to summarize, we have a unique GMP facility. It's legal and it produces high quality products. We have a patented cultivation methodology. We have pioneering technology. So I ask you to partner with us to unveil a nature-based solution to mental disorders, to look for new natural molecules that are unexplored in these hundreds of species that are not cultivated anywhere else in the world. Solutions that might be for anti-inflammations, for cancers, and for any other inflammatory diseases. Jamaica has a very short window of opportunity until the US opens up. And so we're asking you to seize this opportunity and to partner with us. Thank you. While Professor Roy comes, is there any questions that we can take? Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
I think I met you at a SOSA conference.
Great to meet you again.
Could you tell me what solvents you use to extract?
So this proprietary extract has not been prepared yet. This is the project proposal. At the moment, we have biomass that has been produced in form of multiple different species, but they're just biomass ground up and used for products. But we want to do an extract out of it, and there are literature out there using methanol and ethanol and so on. But what we want to do is to go through the chemistry behind them and to actually come up with it. So I can't answer that yet. Thank you. Oh, there's one more. No.
Thank you very much, team. Remember, we have a lounge area if you want to talk to any of the researchers about anything specific. We're going to invite Dr. Andre Coy from the Faculty of Science and Technology to talk about leveraging AI to develop a tutoring system to help young people to read. Andre.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Andre Coy, and I'm a researcher with over 20 years of experience in speech and language technologies and its applications, including artificial intelligence. Caribbean classrooms are often overcrowded and under-resourced, and the result of that is that many of our children are not learning to read. In Jamaica, up to 30% of our cohort every year leaves grade 6 functionally illiterate. That amounts to about 76,000 children every year. In Trinidad and Tobago, the average 7 to 9-year-old is reading below international benchmarks. This follows people into adulthood. It impacts their ability to learn. It impacts their ability to earn. And so it costs Caribbean islands up to 0.5% of their GDP every year because people are generally illiterate and unable to learn to read. What are some of the challenges to increasing literacy rates? Well, you have the lack of individual attention that is given to each reader. You have the problem of little reading support at home, and then there isn't enough variability in the literacy material that they have to learn to read. Our project, our solution, Project Literacy, is an automated literacy tutor. This tutor is a cloud-based, speech-enabled, intelligent literacy tutor that's driven by artificial intelligence, which will allow it to give us targeted, on-demand, and evidence-based instruction. Come with me as we talk through a scenario in which our tutor could be used. This is Beverly. She has a classroom of 35 students. She has used the tutor previously to assess their literacy levels, to see where they are, and so she can assign simple tasks to those who are struggling. Those who are at the intermediate level will be reading at their level, and advanced students will be working on comprehension tasks. These students don't need the constant intervention of the teacher. She can easily check on the dashboard, she can see where each student is, and she can adjust individual learning plans. Joshua, who is one of Beverly's students, can use the tutor at home. Even if he's unable to read very well, the voice-enabled characteristics of the tutor will allow for him to be guided through the instruction process. He will be able to work with this. The artificial intelligence will track his progress and move him from one level to the other based on his previous performance. Joshua's parents can actually look at the dashboard and they can help him along his literacy journey. Our project is novel. The literacy tutor is novel because it is culturally relevant. It allows for the development of a literacy ecosystem, and it is inclusive. We can use recognition of Caribbean accented voices to ensure that the accuracy of determining what is being read by the student is high, so that the student does not suffer the frustration of being told that they are wrong when they've produced the right thing because they have a Caribbean accent. The tutor itself will have a Caribbean voice to guide the students so that it will create a familiar learning environment for the student. They will be hearing voices that sound like them. We will also be modeling Creole, the Creole language, because many of our students come to us marginalized because they speak Creole and their language environment is dominated by Creole, and we want to teach them English. So the tutor will accommodate for that and ensure that they are not left behind simply because they speak Creole. The literacy environment, the cultural modeling that will be done, will allow for a greater buy-in from teachers and administrators, and it will also allow for us to have targeted instruction for each student. The project is scalable. Our tutor is modular, and it has a flexible architecture That means we can actually change the language of instruction. We can change the subject of instruction. And there are also other downstream things that can come from the components of the tutor to be used in business, to be used in healthcare, to be used in tourism, a wide array of things that can be done with the tools embedded in the tutor and the tutor itself. And what we're looking at is aligning with the global ed tech market, which currently is about $140 billion in size, and it is expected to grow very strongly over the next 10 years. So what are we asking for? We're asking for $400,000 over a 3-year period. The majority of that will be used for developer salaries, for research student costs, for fieldwork, as well as data collection. In year 1, we'll be looking at continued data collection and enhancing an existing prototype of the tutor that we already have. In year 2, we'll be doing curriculum development more strongly and doing large-scale trials. In year 3, we will have a finished product, a tutor that is available for deployment that has been tested to determine its efficacy. Our team of dedicated technologists, educators, and students are well placed to be able to deliver this. They are engaged, they're excited, they're talented, and they're ready to move forward to help us to develop this tutor. Not only do they have the technical competence, but they have the lived experience as well. So I'm inviting you all to join us while we solve this Caribbean problem with a uniquely Caribbean solution. Thank you. I'll take any questions. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Andre. You know, when I was a little girl, Michael, I was terrified of reading in class. You know, you had to stand and read, so I would have loved this tutor. Dr. Lyndon Faulkner is going to tell us about how we can use AI to improve parking lot security.
Let me figure this out first. Okay. Good day, everyone. I'm Dr. Lyndon Faulkner. I'm a lecturer in the Faculty of Engineering at the University of the West Indies, Mona. Today, I present Parking Secure. Over the last 3 years, approximately 900 motor vehicles were stolen from parking lots across Jamaica. The challenge we face is that the security guards have this manual intensive process of checking vehicles and drivers as they enter and leave the parking lot. Additionally, traditional security systems do not match the driver to the vehicle. So if a thief is leaving with a vehicle, the alarm system may not trigger. So the solution we present is Parking Secure. This system is designed with cameras, embedded systems, sensors, deep learning, and Internet of Things technologies to extract driver and vehicle information upon entering the parking lot and store this within a database. The system is designed to protect the privacy of the driver. Upon leaving the parking lot, the same information is extracted from the vehicle and the driver and then matched against the stored data. If there is a difference, then the assumption will be raised that the vehicle was stolen and the security measures will be triggered. So who can benefit from this solution? High traffic parking lots, such as in shopping malls, in airports, government services, university campuses can benefit. Also, low traffic parking lots can benefit, such as gated communities. We have looked at other developers who have built similar systems across the world. Some of them are expensive and inconvenient, while others are affordable but not so convenient. Parking Secure will be affordable and convenient. So we're asking for $22,500 US to fund the prototype that we will implement into a parking lot. The money will go towards purchasing cameras, embedded system sensors and computers, and also to modify the entrance of the science and technology and engineering parking lot, because we're going to put the prototype there. So our project timeline is 13 months. We expect to conduct the final hardware and software design, access the data set, train the deep learning models, design, implement, and test the system and deploy the system, and then we do documentation and create publications. So the research team consists of me, Dr. Lyndon Faulkner. I have a PhD in electronics engineering and computer systems engineering, and I have over 18 years developing embedded systems and Internet of Things devices. And Dr. Winston Seeley, who is a professor, assistant professor at Purdue University in the USA. He has a PhD in manufacturing systems, and he has experience in optimization, automation, and developing digital twins systems. We will also have students from the Faculty of Engineering working on this project. So my call to action is, let us fund Parking Secure to protect our parking lots. Let us support design and innovation at the University of the West Indies, Mona. Thank you. Are there any questions?
Coming out of the parking lot and it's my car and they say it's not.
Okay, so yeah, we have taken that into consideration. So this system is designed not to be autonomous all the time. The security guard should be there. So the aim is not to replace a security guard, is to assist the security guard for him to be more efficient. So the security guard will observe, and if there's an error, he will intervene.
You're
welcome.
Dr. Faulkner. Two important AI projects. We're moving to agriculture, and we're going to invite Dr. David Pickin to come and tell us about growing young papaya leaf to treat dengue fever, and he's going to be joined by Dr. Sheena Francis.
Good afternoon, everyone. So today we're presenting our project, establishing optimal growing methods for papaya leaf in the fight against dengue fever. I am Dr. Sheena Francis with over 20 years of research between myself and Dr. Pickin. Let's go.
Oh, it's the big green.
Okay.
Just press the,
Sorry?
Press that one. Yeah.
Okay.
No, just press that.
Okay. All right. So dengue fever affects more than 6 million people each year. Currently in Jamaica, roughly 3,000 dengue cases are reported yearly. And since 2019, the Caribbean and Latin America has reported the highest cases of dengue fever per region. That's different for us because normally those number of cases tend to, the highest number of cases tend to come from Africa. So the Caribbean and Latin America collectively reporting the highest number of dengue cases. It means that something has to be done. Currently, there's no effective method of treating the disease. the main method of preventing transmission of the disease is through vector control. Right now, I study mosquitoes, and right now, many of the insecticides are not working on the mosquitoes. They're not effective. So so there's an urgent need to find a solution. And for this, we're trying to select a natural solution, looking at young papaya leaves as an alternative. Now, young papaya leaves are known to elevate blood platelet counts. This is particularly needed in individuals suffering from dengue hemorrhagic fever. Blood platelet is necessary to allow blood clotting and to prevent bleed out. Also, young papaya leaf has also known to show, early studies have shown insecticidal activities against the mosquitoes. So with that, we're using this particular growing process and product to create a double effect, one for the disease itself and the other to reduce mosquito population.
So what are the market opportunities and the investment rationale that we're proposing? Well, the three markets that we're talking about, the healthcare sector, we're looking at a natural option to support dengue treatment meeting an urgent medical need. Secondly, organic nutraceuticals. There's a surging global demand for natural plant-based health solutions. The third market area is eco-friendly pest control. So chemical-free, sustainable alternatives to insecticides. So the investor benefit, the rationale is, this is an early stage opportunity to enter into a high growth global market. So why invest in this project? Firstly, market growth. There's high global demand for certified organic papaya leaf in the nutraceutical and pest control markets. Secondly, we are looking here at a dual, as Dr. Francis said, it's a dual solution innovation, a natural product for dengue treatment, but also a possible mosquito control mechanism. The social and environmental impact is eco-friendly organic farming that improves public health and grows rural communities and reduces the need for chemical pesticide use amongst the population. Lastly, it's scalable and ready to grow. It's innovative, research-backed, and ready for global expansion. So the market opportunity investment, I've gone back, sorry. So the impact potential, what will this project actually deliver? So it will deliver high-value papaya leaf optimized to fight dengue control and mosquito numbers naturally. It will deliver a standardized, certified organic papaya leaf that's safe and high quality and export ready. It will deliver farmers trained to grow high-value papaya products, boosting rural income. It will deliver an eco-friendly solution, reducing chemical pesticides and supporting public health. And lastly, but not least, it'll provide new Jamaican papaya products for the health and wellness market internationally. So the implementation, this is a 3-year project. So in year 1, we'd set up the research plots, test soil, plant papaya, and start lab testing for dengue and mosquito solutions. Year 2, we'd move into organic certification, the analysis of papaya leaf quality, and developing farmer training programs. Year 3, we'd then move into scaling up, growing, training farmers, and getting ready for local and export markets. So our final goal is to launch certified organic papaya leaf products for dengue support and for natural mosquito control. What are we asking for? We are asking for a very small amount of 50,000 US, and that would be matched through the University of the West Indies and our collaborator, the GWG Organic Research Station. And how that will be delivered is field studies, approximately 30%, laboratory screening, 40%, organic certification, 15%, and farmer training program, 15%.
Okay, so the team consists of myself, a mosquito researcher, mainly look at insecticidal activity, Dr. David Pickin, who is a naturopathic doctor, as well as traditional medicine research expert, and Mrs. Nicola Shirley Phillips, who is an organic farmer who will be in charge of the organic farming property of GWG.
So we
invite you to fight dengue, grow markets, back a research-driven solution. Thank you. So, do you have any questions for us? Okay.
Ladies before gentlemen.
All right, it's me back with New Pack. I am telling you something anecdotal, but anecdotal is where half of research starts. So 5 months ago, I sent a message directly to the Minister of Health, documenting some observations of my office, which is in Kingston 6, which is sprayed ad nauseum for dengue. There is a small spike now, after every spraying, of asthma cases in my office. On top of which, after one of them, I found a pile, and I mean a pile, of dead bees on my windowsill. So we need to start paying attention to really what we're doing with these sprays. It could be coincidental, I don't know, but.
And Dr. Lowe, you're a general practitioner, correct? Yeah.
So I agree with you, and that is why we'd like you to invest or promote our project so that it can get investments.
Hi, afternoon. Christopher Brown from the Development Bank. So I have some assumptions of what you're doing, but I think you might have to just help me with it. So
sure.
I hear you're treating, I'm assuming it's the larvae for the mosquitoes that you guys are treating with the leaf and...
It's actually both. It's actually both. So both the larvae and the adults.
Okay. And I think the larvae lives in water, so I'm assuming you're going after the larvae in the water.
Yes.
So my question is really around pollution and how that is mitigated or managed, because it may end up polluting the water that the sources of water that are
we're
close by
going
to people.
for
So if you can help me with that. Thanks.
Yeah, okay, fine. Thank you very much for that question. So with this particular project, we're going for a natural solution that is also biodegradable. So we're not, and we're cognizant of the fact that if we're killing larvae, we might be killing other organisms as well. So we can't be going above a certain threshold in terms of our concentration that we're using to kill. Also, we are looking, there are different areas that you might find mosquito as opposed to as a fish or something else. So we'll be targeting the areas where we normally find mosquitoes living. Answered? Any other questions? Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Targeting mosquitoes. So our second to last presentation again is David Pickin and team, and ladies and gentlemen, this is a husband and wife team. And they're going to be talking to us about their research on Jamaican turmeric and ginger.
So back again. So I'm not going to say good afternoon again, but good afternoon again.
Good afternoon, all.
Good afternoon.
Okay, so we're delighted to have the opportunity this afternoon to present on our project Sustainable Innovation for Jamaican Ginger and Turmeric. The team today is myself, Dr. Picking, you've already had me introduced, and my colleagues, Dr. Chitra and Dr. Rao. So between us, collectively, we have over 30 years experience in natural products and biotechnology research. Okay, so without further ado, what is the problem? So Jamaica was amongst the top 3 ginger exporters in the 1930s all the way through to the 1960s. And Jamaican ginger had a worldwide reputation and still does have a worldwide reputation. But we're in a situation now where local demand outstrips, sorry, someone's signaling to me. Local demand now outstrips supply. In addition, Jamaican turmeric is naturally very potent. It has higher levels of curcumin, probably compared to other turmerics around the world. But it currently is underdeveloped. We rank 17th out of 23 exporters internationally. One of the main reasons for this is disease. Disease has crippled the production of both. And there's limited screening up to now. There's been very, very limited screening of disease-resistant varieties. So Jamaica is missing out. Jamaica is missing out on a global ginger and turmeric market that was estimated to have been worth $9.7 billion in 2023. So what's the solution? What is it that we're proposing that's different to anything anybody else is doing? So we're proposing a combination of modern plant science, the best use of biotechnology, in combination with organic farming protocols. So the goal of the project is to deliver a reliable supply of disease-free ginger and turmeric, to develop the top producing varieties for premium spice and health markets, and to train farmers in organic growing and disease control for lasting success.
I'll be talking about the market opportunity. So you see, as already my colleague Dr. David has said, there is already a 9.7 billion global market for ginger and turmeric, but Jamaica is largely absent. And there is a soaring demand for organic, high-quality products in health, wellness, and spice sectors. And also, global buyers are seeking reliable and disease-free supply. So why to invest? That is to revive Jamaica's once world-famous ginger. And now it is designated by disease. Launch a premium turmeric industry, which is, of course, going to be Jamaica's next big export success. It is going to create jobs, it's boost farmer income, and grow rural communities. So investing in Jamaica's future, high-value crops, and high global demand. So impact potential. So what is this project going to deliver? We are going to deliver disease-free plants, that is ginger and turmeric, for reliable and high-quality supply. We are going to deliver Jamaica's best ginger and turmeric identified for premium health benefits. We are going to deliver certified organic production ready for global export. We are going to train the farmers for sustainable methods for better yields and income. We are also going to deliver the premium Jamaican products positioned for high-value export markets. So it's like reviving Jamaican ginger, unlocking turmeric, and powering our farmers and export in the country. So the implementation and the research roadmap is, first we will develop the method to develop a clean, free plants, that's by tissue culture, plant tissue culture. Then my colleague Dr. Rao is going to do molecular characterization for getting the disease-resistant varieties. And then my another colleague, Dr. David, is going to set organic standards and ways to manage diseases. And finally, we will train the farmers in organic and high-yield farming. So it's a stepwise procedure that we are going to do stepwise. So the first part will be done by me, second by Dr. Rao, and then finally by Dr. David.
Thank you. This is our funding requirement, which is very important component for the project. So we are asking total funding request, that is 262,500 USD, with additional in-kind contribution from UV, as well as from the GWG Organics, around 250,000. So what is the funding we were delivering? That is the expert team to develop disease-resistant varieties by me and my colleagues, and also develop, some laboratory equipments and materials also will be around some 25%, and field trials will be validated to have a better varieties of ginger and turmeric for 20%, and training for farmers will be 30% coverage, and community engagement outreach include travel around some 7% like that. So this is our project timeline. It is our 3 years project timeline, and having 5 phases. That is phase 1, project setup and launch. Phase 2, plant development for disease-resistant varieties from the disease-free plants, and also phase 3, field trials in organic farming, and phase 4, producing product testing and health product analysis. And phase 5 is market readiness and industrial links. So this is how from lab to farm and farm to market, a roadmap to Jamaica, premium ginger turmeric success. And finally, this is our team, which is having 20 to 25 years of research experience in various fields which are very much fitted for this research project. That is lead investigators and co-investigators. Lead investigators, Dr. Vijay Chitra, is specialized in plant tissue culture and genetic transformation studies, and David Picking in ethnopharmacology and medicinal plant research, and Dr. Chintapalli Bhaskar Rao is a plant molecular physiologist and plant biochemist. And from lead investigators, we gain something from co-investigators as well, that is Dr. Dwight Robinson, that is pests and pesticide management. We have to test even the plants which are in the field. So from Professor Tennant, we will learn something from virology and plant pathology. And also Mrs. Nicolai, she's from GWG Organic Research, product director. And she's very much interested in project certification and product certification as well. So expertise and track record to deliver results. So this is how, ladies and gentlemen, let's be partners in a project that grows farmers, exports, global markets from Jamaica to the world. Thank you. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Oh.
Affect the potency of the ginger in any way? Will it remain the same Jamaican ginger?
Yes, first, the second part of our research, which Dr. Rao is going to perform, he is going to do the molecular characterization. That is, he is going to compare whether some alkaloids or antioxidants or anti-inflammatories or anything have changed in them. So we are going to test that, and then only it's going for organic certification.
So yeah, just to confirm, so when the project's not talking about using genetic modification, because if we did that, we wouldn't be able to get the organic certification. So we're using tissue culture to optimize, which has been done before, but the plan is to do a lot of work on the molecular characterization to identify the best varieties, because we know that we have multiple varieties of both species on the island. So yeah, thank you for the question.
Yeah, thanks for the question. Your question is a very good question, because this particular ginger rhizomes will develop some kind of homoclonal variations when we do tissue culture, in producing large number of plants. So in these variations, they may have some genetic variabilities also will be seen. So these all things will be monitored while doing this process, while doing these experiments. So this will be not, it will not take, our team will not have any influence on genetically modified crops. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Our last presentation, very important for Jamaica. Dr. Diedrich Jones is going to tell us about and ask our support for her remittances and migration project.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Natalie Dietrich Jones, a senior research fellow based at the Sir Arthur Lewis Institute of Social and Economic Studies, and I am the principal investigator of the Jamaica Remittances and Migration Project. So one of my fondest childhood memories is receiving birthday cards from both my grandmothers, and it almost always included postal orders. I think some of the younger ones might not know what that is, but moving on. So postal orders, which when I cashed, I would, like the true book nerd, go and purchase a whole ton of books. Now, remittances are a critical sustainer of household livelihoods in Jamaica, and they're also a key macroeconomic stabilizer because governments used the foreign exchange to complement the fiscal accounts. So my remittances are a big deal, right? 3.3 billion US dollars last year in remittances, impacting 440,000 households, which is 8 times greater than foreign direct investments. So all those hotels and BPOs, etc., remittances far exceeds that. 13 times greater than official development assistance, which is funds from bilateral partners like the UK and the US, and it constitutes 19% of gross domestic product. However, there is a challenge. We don't understand much about the culture of remitting, and we really don't know much about the evolution of the financial services sector, which has adapted to accommodate these significant remittance flows. There are 3 issues that we've identified. One is this sustainability gap. So despite the fact that remittances are so significant, they are very vulnerable to changes in the international financial economy. So anything related to a recession, a pandemic, a change in government policy, which we are seeing at this very moment, could impact remittances being sent from overseas. And that means that there could be a development gap. So all those households that rely on remittances will be impacted by any decline in flows. And then, as I've said earlier, this knowledge gap. In order for us to try to prepare the governments to cushion our economies from these decreases in remittances, we need to understand more about the culture of remitting. So what does our project propose? We propose to fill the knowledge and development gaps and hopefully indirectly address this sustainability issue that we've identified. So we propose to develop a research instrument that we will then use to collect critical data related to the culture of remitting in Jamaica. This data, which is basically the central output of our project, will inform evidence-based policy solutions which the governments and other key stakeholders like international financial institutions, IDB, IMF, etc., central bank, even the money transfer operators that are hiring people will use to develop social and economic programs and policy. But another important output, which is something I'd really like you to pay attention to, is the memorializing of remittance and migration culture in Jamaica. So up to this point, despite the importance of migration in Jamaica, there is no purpose-built monument, museum, which acknowledges the significance of remittances and migration in Jamaica. And what we propose to do as part of our project is collect artifacts that will commemorate and memorialize this culture. So who will benefit from our research? Direct beneficiaries are those persons who will use the data that we have generated from our surveys and interviews in order to, as I said earlier, inform policy and design programs, etc. The 440,000 households are indirect beneficiaries, but our tourism market is another key beneficiary. Of the 4.1 million tourists that visit Jamaica, any one of those might be interested in visiting this new cultural and educational attraction that will diversify our tourism sector. So will you partner with us, right? A modest 90,000 investment will allow us to collect our data, design evidence-based solutions that will inform fiscal policy space, enhance the cultural and educational tourism experience, and generate income for our university, which is one of the key purposes of this pitch, and also any investors that have contributed to our project. So our project will take place over 2 years. In those 2 years, we'll hire research assistants, we'll design our survey instrument, which, by the way, will be innovative. The last study on remittances was conducted in 2008. We are at 2025, right? It's high time we have a better understanding of the culture of remitting. So we will be developing an instrument, collecting this data, and developing policy briefs, and as I said, calling for artifacts, which we will then put together in an exhibition and launch that exhibition in the final quarter of 2027. You can hear more about our team at the end, at the booth. I invite you to join me, and I thank you for listening to our pitch. And happy to take any questions. Somebody? Oh.
We have a sense of the potential interest of tourists in terms of museums and this particular type of opportunity. It really, as you were speaking, it brought to mind for me that monument in New York, the Liberty, which is really a type of museum, and we have quite a strong migration tradition, so it would make perfect sense to have something that pertains.
Right, so that's a very good point. A lot of countries use these memorials to attract tourism. I don't know if you were following, I think it was last year, our sculptor, Basil Watson, he designed a memorial to Windrush generation, and that memorial is in Waterloo Station, and persons visit Waterloo Station, well, I did, just to go to see this special Windrush statue, which eventually was awarded a Viewer's Choice or Voter's Choice Award for significant memorial. So there is potential, I think, in developing a product, a tourism product, around a museum attraction. Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Dejik Jones. So our final item, thank you very much for staying with us. Dr. Arlene Bailey, who is my co-chair, one of my co-chair for the Research Day Committee, is going to make a short presentation and the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you very much for your wonderful support and interest here and online for all our presentations and for all of the research insights that have been shared. So we thank very much. Starting with the morning session, we thank the UWI Pop Society and UWI Panorythm for the wonderful intro musical interlude. And of course, our chair for the proceedings, Prof. Marcia Roy, for guiding so smoothly. We thank our principal, Prof. Denzel Williams, and our PVC for Graduate Studies and Research, Prof. Aldry Henry Lee, for their remarks and insights shared. And to Dr. Tamara Stevenson, representing the Ministry of Education, we also thank him. And to Mr. Michael Lopez, leading in terms of the innovation and research potential and initiatives, wishing all the best for the proposed biopharma institutions, and leading into the presentations of our researchers and their pitches. We thank very much our investors, potential partners as well, who are here. And again, you could talk further with our researchers, Dr. Simone Badala and team, Dr. Howard Reed and team, Prof. Rupika Delgoda, Dr. William Irvin and Dr. Mackenzie, Dr. Lyndon Faulkner and team, Dr. Andre Coy and team, Dr. David Picking and Dr. Sheena Francis, Dr. Vijaya Shitra, Dr. Shintapali Bhaskar-Rao, and Dr. David Picking and team, Dr. Natalie Dietrich-Jones. And all, we look forward to the continued discussions. We also want to thank our sponsors, so Guardian Life, Pure Country, and Campus Elite Jamaica, for the wonderful support as well for Research Day as the events continue. And we would like to thank our committee and organizing team, so the steering committee, the faculty committees, the deans, the caterers and decor, MITS, and the team, admin and technical teams, security, and of course our events and marketing teams, which have done such a wonderful, wonderful job today. So for the research pitches, we had a wonderful support for our Mona Office for Research and Innovation. We had the wonderful support of Catalyst, Dr. David Walcott, Dr. Samantha Johnson, and Mr. Jahari Taylor in the preparation and work with the researchers, guiding, providing a space for the wonderful support and constructive comments for the pitches that were presented today. So we would like to invite the Catalyst team. I know I saw them up earlier, and Dr. Johnson up to recently. Dr. Johnson. Okay, so we will show what we would be presenting the Catalyst team. Thanking again Mr. Aidan James Rossini from the events team. It's a token of our UE for the beautiful work that they did in supporting our beautiful campus. So this will be for the Catalyst team. We thank all of you again and look forward to the continued work with Research Days. Thank you, everyone. Okay.
Imagine developing a new medication, but only testing it in one group of people. That's essentially what's happening with cancer research today. Black men are twice from cancer. To address this, we have developed breakthrough tools from Caribbean patients. Our first success, a prostate cancer cell line that's already licensed for drug development. We're not just doing innovative science, we're building an equitable future in cancer care.
My name is Andre Coy, and I'm a senior lecturer in the Department of Physics at UE. I want to share with you today my project Literacy. Caribbean classrooms are often overcrowded and under-resourced, and as a result, many children are not learning to read. For Jamaica, that means approximately 76,000 students each year are leaving primary school functionally illiterate. Our solution, Project Literacy, is an intelligent tutoring system driven by artificial intelligence that will teach young people to read. The tutor will automatically adapt to readers' levels and will guide them along the literacy journey. Our solution is novel because it is culturally responsive, meaning that it takes into account the unique linguistic and cultural needs of our students. Caribbean accented speech tools increase accuracy and provide a familiar learning environment for our students. A Caribbean solution tailored to Caribbean learners. Join me as we work to solve the literacy problem using modern technology. Thank you.
Did you know that 1.3 million
million Jamaicans reside overseas. Their remittances contribute to micro and macro socioeconomic development, accounting for 19% of GDP. While migration is acknowledged as a culturally embedded social phenomenon, the culture of remitting is understudied. The Jamaica Remittances and Migration Project will provide insight into the emergence of this culture of remitting, as well as the evolution of the financial services sector in Jamaica to accommodate for this social reality. My name is Natalie Dietrich-Jones, Senior Research Fellow at Celicis and Principal Investigator of the Jamaica Remittances and Migration Project.
Good day. I am Lyndon Faulkner and I'm a lecturer in the Faculty of Engineering at the University of the West Indies. Today I'm introducing Parking Secure. What is the problem? The problem is 40% of vehicles are stolen from parking lots. The challenge we have is that security guards are overwhelmed by the tedious task of recording driver and vehicle information and entering and leaving the parking lot. In addition, security systems and cars do not match the driver to the vehicle. So the solution is we're introducing a device that uses embedded systems, deep learning, Internet of Things technologies to extract driver and vehicle information and store it in a centralized database on entry to the parking lot. So when the driver is leaving, when that vehicle is leaving the parking lot, the same information is extracted and then matched against the stored information. If a difference is shown, then an alarm will be raised and the security measures will be activated. This solution, we hope, will decrease theft in parking lot by 80 to 90% upon implementation.
Jamaica was once a global leader in high-quality ginger, but disease and declining yields have crippled production. Meanwhile, the global ginger and turmeric markets exceed $11 billion, yet Jamaica is missing out.
This research will revolutionize Jamaica's agriculture by developing disease-free, high-yield ginger and turmeric that meet international organic standards, unlocking biotech advancements, value-added products, and export opportunities.
With your support, we are combining molecular biotechnology, organic farming, and agribusiness to deliver a certified organic nursery for disease-free plant propagation. Farmer training is sustainable, high-yielding practices, a scalable agribusiness model for long-term industry success.
Join us in revitalizing Jamaica's ginger industry and unlocking turmeric's economic potential.
Did you know
that 1 in 8 persons suffer from a mental disorder? Did you also know that the global burden is expected to double in the coming years? Here at Secret, in collaboration with a commercial partner, we engage in research in psychedelic mushrooms for psychiatric treatment for mental disorders.
Our project aims to develop a high-quality proprietary mushroom extract for use in clinical studies. We use patented methods developed in our GMP-certified lab for the cultivation and preparation of the mushroom.
We use our proprietary molecular models to gain mechanistic insight into psilocybin biosynthesis. Given the legal status of these mushrooms in Jamaica, this represents an exciting and unique research opportunity.
Dengue fever is a growing global crisis affecting over 5 million people every year. And here in Jamaica, we're tackling it in an innovative way with nature. Papaya leaf has shown real promise in helping dengue patients recover. But right now, there's not a standardized, high-quality supply for medicinal use.
Early studies suggest that the papaya extract could help reduce mosquito population by disrupting their breeding cycle. A double impact solution targeting both the disease and its transmission.
This project isn't just about science. It's about creating a sustainable, high-value industry in Jamaica, supporting farmers and bringing a nature-based health and mosquito-controlled solution to the Caribbean.
We invite you to be a part of this groundbreaking opportunity.
The
journey to finding your purpose starts with a choice, but choosing doesn't mean limiting yourself. At the University of the West Indies, you can create your own path, become a trailblazer, change the game, and stay one step ahead, ready for whatever comes next. With 5 campuses in the Caribbean and 10 global centers spread across the Americas, Europe, Africa, and Asia, UWI is one of the world's most globalized universities. Over 800 certificate, diploma, undergraduate, and postgraduate degree options are available to help take you wherever you want to go. Study at the university ranked #1 in the Caribbean, among the best in the world, and recognized for its pursuit of UN sustainable goals like climate action and gender equality. UWI's mission to create knowledge and support innovation to transform the region and the wider world is what drives us, and we have a legacy of producing Caribbean leaders, making an impact in every corner of the globe. Will you be one of them? Whatever your journey holds, start it here at the University of the West Indies. Discover more at www.uwi.edu.
Research isn't just in labs or textbooks, it's the toothpaste we use, the pen that captures our ideas, and the crops that feed our nation. At the University of the West Indies, research is the heartbeat of progress, shaping Jamaica, the Caribbean, and the world. On March 13, 2025, join us for UWI Research Day, where innovation meets action, under the theme, Driving Jamaican, Caribbean, and Global Development Through Research, Innovation, and Advocacy. Witness groundbreaking discoveries that redefine policies, transform industries, and empower communities. Explore interactive exhibits, engage with visionary thinkers, and watch as innovators pitch life-changing projects to global donors. Students, entrepreneurs, policymakers, and dreamers, this is your invitation to shape tomorrow. Mark your calendar, March 13, 2025.
The Office of Student Services and Development, Western Jamaica Campus, aims to promote student success through out-of-class experience, preparing students socially, personally, and professionally. Our programs include first-year experience, emerging leaders, mentorship, part-time job referrals, and student development workshops and engagement. OSSD also includes the Hall of Residence, 600 block, shuttle bus service, clubs and societies, and so much more. Come and visit us today. Your future is our future. Contact us via email at student.serviceswjc@uwimona.edu.jm, on Instagram at OSSD_WJC, and via phone 876-952-4068.